What is going on there, jerk faces? It's your boy Andy, and you're watching Nocturnal Transmissions, brought to you by the Circle of Jerks podcast. It's our weekly live stream where we talk about news, current events, esoteric ideas, and of course our movie review. And tonight we'll conclude our submarine month with probably at least my favorite submarine movie, The Hunt.
Is this potentially at least the most famous submarine film? Because I mean, when it comes to sub films, this is the first movie that pops up on most lists.
Yeah, I think it might be fair to say that the quintessential submarine movie, and that's The Hunt for Red October, starring, of course, the legendary Sean Connery, Alec Baldwin, Stellan Skarsgård, James Earl Jones, a whole cavalcade of what are now recognized as famous actors.
Oh yeah, this is a star-studded cast. It's
even in like the kind of like even in some of like the smaller bit parts, like there's like Tim Curry. He plays the Russian doctor aboard the ship, and what is it? Courtney B. Vance, who plays Seaman Jones, the sonar tech.
That is who that is.
Yeah.
I was like, I know this guy from somewhere, and I couldn't place it.
Yeah, and of course one of my favorites, Scott Glenn playing Captain Mancuso.
He was great too.
The USS Dallas.
This movie, man, is so great.
Yeah. We're finishing up submarine month, with a bang.
Yeah. I'm glad we ended the month with this film.
Mm-hmm. So all that to look forward to in the next couple of hours. With me as ever is the homeboy Rob.
Yo, what's going on, everybody?
Oh man, it's hot as balls over here, man. It's
dude, I work at like 4 a.m, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sweating my ass off at 4 a.m. It's that hot. It's like I come outside and it's like a hot, wet blanket that's thrown on me. I'm already like right now. I feel pretty good. It's nice in the office. Got my fan going, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Good to go. I got a cold beer.
Mm-hmm.
But then, yeah, man. During the summer when I'm working, I'm so glad I don't work during the day, that I work kind of early in the morning. Because, yeah, it is hot as fucking balls outside. Oh, my God.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of SOL over here.
Like, I tried to take my dog out before we streamed, and she was having none of it. She's like, she ran to the shade, and she, like, did her, like, fuck no, I'm not going another inch. I was like, all right, let's go.
Yeah, I'm a little SOL over here because my room, where I do the stream, my bedroom.
It looks so hot in there.
It's a western facing window, and so, and a lot of people think like, oh, in the afternoon it shouldn't be so bad. No, actually, interestingly enough, the hottest times. Well, the hottest time really is in the late afternoon. Like about 4 to about 6.
Yeah.
And again, since my window is western facing, I don't know. Maybe I should get blackout curtains.
Yeah, honestly, it does help. I remember at my parents' house, the room that I was in when I lived with my parents, because it was the same problem. Like the sun would just flood into my room, and it would get so hot. Thankfully we had like the double pane windows and stuff, and so I would have like kind of the nice dark curtains, and the AC kept the room pretty cool. But man, when it was not on, and if like I left the curtains drawn or open, it would get so hot. It's like a greenhouse in there.
Yeah.
But now my parents made a huge change on their house. They built this really nice patio out there, and it's just it cooled the house down tremendously. So like,
yeah, I mean, I have the air conditioner running and I have a fan going, and it's like I'm still like dripping over here.
Well, it could honestly, it could be 50 degrees outside, and you'd be sweating your balls off because I know we've done recording.
I mean, I'm a sweater. Yeah, full disclosure, everyone. I'm a sweater.
You were a sweaty man.
Yeah, and truth be told, it's funny because you know, a lot of Chungs, you know, people in my family, they're sweaters too, and even our buddy James, who's also a Chung, like he sweats a lot too, and it's like it's the joke between us is like, oh yeah, all Chungs are sweaty.
Yeah, and it's funny. I've actually met a new friend through my wife, and it's the same thing. Like, you know, he's another guy. It's like, yeah, it could be 50 degrees outside, and like I sweat. You can't help it. It just happens. There's some people that they just perspire like more than others.
Yeah. Yeah, and I remember, my mom, she used to try to correct that in me by force feeding me like Chinese herbal medicines.
Oh yeah, you were telling me.
Like it didn't work, even to the point where like, because you know, as a younger kid, like I fight it tooth and nail. But then, you know, when I was a little bit older and a little bit more mature, you know, and I just, you know, I'd hurry up and down that sucker. Even then, when I was on like a pretty consistent, you know, routine, it still didn't help. Like I still sweated balls.
Yeah, it's,
you know, now like my mom complains like, oh, it's because you didn't drink it consistently enough, or you know that's why you keep sweating too much. It's like, or it's just who I am. Okay.
Yeah, I know they have like special like medication and stuff now for people who.
Yeah, no, I mean, I looked into it, because I looked up, the condition, and it's an actual condition called hyperhidrosis.
Yeah.
But it's usually more, or the condition is more targeted around like the pits or something. And there are treatments. There's even like you could even inject Botox into your armpits.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, because apparently, it causes the surrounding tissue to swell, and so it closes off the pores, so the sweat doesn't flow as readily. I don't know if such treatments are possible for like the scalp area, because that's the I'm like a front of the head and face sweater.
Yeah, I've heard like there are like some like salves or other types of like medication that kind of help like close the pores more. So like not that like you're closing them.
Yeah, you're not choking them off.
You're a little bit.
Yeah, you're dilating them.
So you don't perspire quite as much.
Mm-hmm.
I know they have because there's other people that get it in the hands, and like there's stuff that they like. There's like certain creams, like a hand cream that people can put on that helps kind of with that. And I think it's something similar to that for like wherever you have that issue in. Like I sweat like it's like a freaking waterfall on my head or like in my ass crack. It's like they have stuff that can help that. I didn't realize how big of an issue it is with a lot of people. There's a lot of people that have that issue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, for a while, I just thought it was because I was like super fat, and
it's not. It has nothing to do like because there's skinny people who have that issue.
Right.
That's why I had to tell my wife too. It's like it has nothing to do with body size. They're like, I mean, yeah, of course, like. If you're like 600 pounds and like clapping your hands like in a Richard Simmons video, like maybe it's because you're fat.
Yeah, I remember that episode of Sally Jesse Raphael too.
Yeah. Those people, like that's the thing. It's like those people ended up like being able to clap their hands enough so that they could actually get up out of bed. That's insane.
or work up a sweat.
Those people.
Yeah, but I mean, I wouldn't say that I'm obese, but I think I could say that I'm overweight.
We are.
And so I think there is something to like having a little bit more weight on you and having your body like work a little bit harder, causing like more sweat. But
No,
I think, but for me though, I don't think like I'm not saying that I'm like, again, I'm not saying I'm an obese, but I think, I do carry a lot of weight, more weight than people. A lot of people would be surprised that I'm close to like 200 pounds. But I also think it's because I have a lot more muscle than I think I do. Like, because I think in my legs especially, I have like really big, powerful legs.
Yeah, you have thick legs like me too. Cause
Yeah.
I have the same thing. Like, because I have really my thighs are like, and they're not like they're not sloshing around. Like, they're like rock solid.
Yeah.
Same thing with my calves. Like it's like there's not really any fat on them.
Right. Yeah. And then and when I try to float in this in like a body of water, my legs are the first thing to go.
Yeah.
Because again, muscle is more dense than fat. So the first thing to sink in water would probably be my legs because they are so muscular.
Yeah, like
I'm not gonna show my legs on stream, you perverts.
Yeah. There's a whole other website.
I know, there's a whole other website. Sign up for my OnlyFans.
Yeah, it's like we just have a little bit of fluff around the center, or what I like to call it is insulation for the 6-packs that we have.
I know, right?
Cool.
I know. Yeah.
But it's actually been really fucking humid too. That's the other thing. But
yeah.
I will say,
it actually caused my front door to swell up.
Yeah.
And so it creaks more, and the door doesn't lock as good as it once did. But that's just because of the humidity and it's the door has absorbed some of that moisture, and so it causes it to swell up. And it's so funny because people were complaining just like a month ago because of all the rains that we had, and it's being cold. It's still cold all the way up until July, or to the end of June at least.
It's like, shut up. Like,
yeah,
just
and then
enjoy it. Like,
but then now it's just like, now we're in the triple digits, and it's just like, oh my god, it's so hot. I wish we had like I wish it was the weather that we had, we're enjoying just a month ago. It's like,
well, you complain then too. So what?
Yeah, you complain then too. Like, there's no making you happy.
Yeah,
it's
because then you have the news too. It's like, oh, we've never seen heat like this before. Well, it's like, yes, we have.
Like you have.
Summer last year from the
remember
the dog days of September. It was that hot the entire fucking summer, and slightly before the summer and slightly after summer ended, it was that hot the entire fucking time, and it was awful. And now we had some reprieve because we had all the rains because it was so damn humid last year. It built up all that kind of moisture.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why we got all the rains during the winter this time around, which is great. And then we actually had a really mild start to the summer. June was great. I actually, in the mornings, I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna need a sweater. It's kind of cold.
Yeah. Still a little brisk out.
Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah, but then it's like everyone freaks out when it gets hot and during summer. It's like, it's the summer. And I mean, I will make a little defense, because as a kid I don't remember it being this hot during summer. I mean, I remember it was hot, but I was still able to go out with my friends and be outside during summer and ride bikes or play basketball or or just hang outside. I was one of those kids where we would me and the neighborhood kids, we'd all kind of hang out on the street corner and just and just hang out and we didn't necessarily need shade in summer, but we just hang out, and it wasn't that hot. Being a sweater, I did sweat and it was hot, but just it wasn't constantly always in the triple digit range.
No, not, that's the thing. Or maybe it was just because back when we were kids, we just kind of didn't care too much. It didn't.
Maybe. Maybe we were just tougher.
I think we were, honestly, a lot tougher back then.
Yeah.
Because I think it was just.
I think becoming adults made us pansies.
Yeah, now, like, I mean, for me, like, I actually now I'm used to the heat, so I'm like, it's hot, whatever. Yeah, it's like I don't really care too much. I
Yeah.
mean, it's like I said, it's easier that I work early in the morning, so it's not quite as bad.
Hmm.
But man, like I do feel bad for people that have to like work out in the fucking like
Yeah,
outside
like road
sun down.
crews or
It's
construction workers
They're so
or hell,
God,
even
so
yeah, I
I'm not a
mean
letter carrier. My
yeah, or
God.
even yeah, letter carriers like and hell, even like the homeless,
Yeah,
who have to
it's
just
gotta
be
be
out
tough
there
on
all the
them too.
time. Yeah, it's yeah, it's yeah, like when we do like mobile showers, like at the end of it, like they get to hang out and like chill and in the shade or in the air conditioning of our building, and it's just like at the end of it, like I have to kick them out, like not like kick them out, but I have to let them know that all right, we're done for the day, so
Up for the day. Yeah,
yeah, and then like we have to like ask them to leave, and it's just like it's since it has been so hot, it's like I do feel bad, but
yeah,
but then again, like they always show up again next week, so it's like so they are able to survive.
yeah. Hey, you know what? If I can just make it to next Wednesday, it's gonna be okay.
Right, I know. So so I am encouraged that that I still see them like showing up, meaning that they are able to endure and able to manage in the heat, even though that they are homeless.
Yeah.
Uh, so so if they're able to endure, then I too should be able to endure.
How's your week been, Andy? Like, what have you been up to? Anything like new? Just kind of just trying to stay cool.
Yeah, more or less. Oh, this past weekend I made my first sale.
Hell yeah! All right.
Yeah, because for those of you who don't know, I've been helping my buddy out at his bike shop, and this past weekend I made my first sale of an e-bike. Nice kid, and I mean I say kid, but he's a young adult. Just I'm just sure he was younger than me. And he was looking for an e-bike, not necessarily, something to get him around town, but then also, something for light trails and such. And so I hooked him up, and so yeah, I made my first sale.
That's awesome, buddy. That's congratulations.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming. I've been it's so funny because my friend because the time. Every single time that I haven't been able to make a sale, like my friend calls me up, says, "Oh man, you should have came in today." I just sold like 3 bikes, and it's like, okay. And it's just like it's just like always just always missing the mark. It's like or like one of the other employees, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, this guy he sold one too today." It's just like, ah
Should
man,
have been there, man.
I know I should have been
Should
there.
have been here.
It should have been me.
And it's never gonna happen again.
Yeah. But
Yeah, that's satisfying, dude. Like being in sales like that, that's something I can't do. Like my dad is really good at that stuff. I mean, you
oh
obviously he's been
yeah,
on the
that's right.
podcast numerous times. Like he is so good
Mhm.
at like spinning a story and like kind of just connecting with people, and he's a salesman
Yeah.
in a lot of ways. He's so good at it. I'm so jealous of him.
Yeah, I mean,
That's me. But
half of selling is just connecting with people.
yeah, and he's so good at that. And I get, and to a degree, I'm good at that, but not in the way that would be necessary to sell something.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm always like really, when I see that you're doing that now, hey man, that's the first of many.
Yeah, I mean, but even when I'm doing like photography stuff, I'm still like, I'm still a salesman. Selling my services and whatever. And it's not, it's not always an easy thing to do. But yeah, I mean, especially since 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 the last 3 years, a lot of the work is kind of dried up. At least for on my end. But even when I was dealing with clients, it wasn't all peaches and cream.
No.
They constantly have questions about like, oh, is this like what camera do you use? It's like you don't why was like they ask like it's really annoying because they ask like stupid questions, but it's like
irrelevant questions.
Irrelevant questions like, are you gonna be the one holding the camera? No. All right, then shut the fuck up.
All you need to ask is, where do I need to stand?
Yeah.
How should I look?
Yeah. It's like what time, what to wear, and where, time, place, and what to wear. That's all you have to, as a client for my photographic services, like that's all you have to worry about. Because what does it matter if I don't use like
magic happen? You just do what I tell you to do.
Yeah. It's just like I'm you wouldn't pester a painter about his brushes. Like, oh, are you using sable or synthetic? Just like, who cares? I'm gonna be painting the picture.
Shut the fuck up. Just it's.
Yeah, I mean, I get it because I'm providing a service, and people want prompt service, but it's like those. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if everyone can relate, but those are always those clients that are constantly like hounding you and like breathing down your necks, like where are my pictures? Where are my pictures? Where are my pictures? It's like, it's in the queue, dude. I'm like, my workflow is my workflow. Of course, I'm gonna get it to you as in a timely and in a reasonable manner as possible. But you can't micromanage. So, especially if I have other clients that I'm dealing with.
I kind of deal with the same thing like in my line of work too, because people ask me questions like because obviously I'm helping them to ship their shit off.
Right. Yeah. You're providing a service.
And it's like, oh, how do I do this? Oh, I don't think that's how. I don't think that's right. It's like, oh, I didn't. You asked me.
So, I'm sorry. Are you wearing the navy blue vest?
Yeah. Did you?
Yeah. Shut the fuck up.
Switch positions. I'll be the customer.
Like, did you take the civil service exam? Like, did you take the civil service exam? No. Then shut the fuck up.
God, there's been so many times where like I keep a straight face, but inside I'm just like
screaming. Yeah.
One of these days, Alice, to the fucking moon. Oh my god. Is this a? I got this text message. So what do I do with this? I'm sorry. That's that's a scam. Like, we don't send out text messages. Are you sure? Because it seems legit. It's like, and it's like it got to the point where it's like some of us were like, you know what, just fucking do it. If you want to give away your life savings to some asshole over in like that's trying to scam you out of your money.
Yeah, some Kenyan prince. Yeah. You helped out that Kenyan prince.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Just, we're telling you that it's not from us. Don't click on it. Don't message these people. Like delete it. It's like, god damn, how stupid can you be?
Right. I mean, yeah, because if it's actually from the government or whatever, like the Social Security stamp, like if the government is actually gonna come after you, they'll find you. All right. Like they're not gonna come through
an official letter.
Yeah, they'll mail you an official letter, with a seal and everything, and that's when you know that the government is looking for you.
He'll send his armed FBI or his armed
IRS agents. Yeah,
it's really that important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah, because even with debt collectors and stuff, a lot of time, this is something that I just learned, but a lot of times, they'll some other company will buy up your debt, from the initial debtor.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know if this is 100% true, but I heard that if someone calls and asking for you and you confirm your identity, then you can actually get away with not paying your debt if you don't answer like those phishing phone calls where they're like trying to get information from you. Huh?
I answered none of those.
Oh, or like if I get a phone number, like if I get a number that I don't recognize but I still pick it up and they ask for Andrew Chung, I go and I pretend like the connection's bad. I just go hello.
Who's this?
I just go hello. I just keep repeating hello. It's like hello, and then like even though I can still hear them, and then I just like eventually hang up. It's just I don't know if I just gave away my secret, but well, like I was saying, I heard that like if you're in debt and then a lot of times especially if you're having a hard time paying it off, what these companies will do. They'll sell their debt to another like collections agency or whatever, but then they'll make contact with you like saying like, oh, like we're the new debtors now, we're so you pay to us. But I heard it's you only have to pay if they can establish your identity.
Oh really? Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah. So So if so if you ever get like a phone call and it's like, oh, are you such and such person? It's like, do you live at da 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 da? And if you could confirm those, if you can confirm identity, then they gab you and say, oh, well now we're your new debtors, like your company, your credit card company or whatever sold your debt that you owe them to us, and now you owe us. But I heard that if you don't confirm your identity, you don't if your company, if the like your credit card company or your mortgage or whatever, if they sell off that debt to a third party dealer, and if they're not able to confirm identity, then you are essentially off the hook for that debt.
Yeah, that seems really sketchy, and fuck that. Like honestly, like any way we can fuck those people over, do it.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is just something I heard in passing. And I don't vouch 100% that this is true. So don't I just don't acknowledge people who are looking for me in the first.
Over to Andrew Chung.
I know, right? Just like numbers, numbers. Like I don't really. I mean, because sometimes I do pick up especially the ones with like the local area code. I'll answer.
Yeah.
But if they start like going, oh, is this Andrew Chung? I go, what? Hello? What? Hello? Oh, and then click.
Oh, you're looking for what was that joke from The Simpsons? Like, oh no, you're looking for Tony Plow. Yeah, they're gay.
It's like, oh, I'm not. It's like, oh, you.
Oh, you're looking for Mr. Plow. No, this is Tony Plow.
Tony Plow. From Leave It to Beaver. It's like, yeah, they were gay.
Oh, man, but no, I haven't done anything as exciting as selling anything. I've been working a lot. I actually this past Saturday, I worked so much. But like last Saturday though, we were redoing the floors at our office, so someone kind of had to be there just to make sure kind of keep an eye on everything. And if the cleaner, if the people who were doing their professional floor waxers or whatever, if they needed anything, just to be there to help them out. So essentially, like, there wasn't much to do. So I worked on stuff for the podcast, and like another project I'm working on. So I didn't do all of this on the Saturday, but it was like something I've been doing this past week. So the new Indiana Jones film came out, so it gave me, it's like, you know what? Why don't and I don't recognize like the Crystal Skull, or I'm probably not going to recognize Dial of Destiny as an Indiana Jones film.
Yeah,
so
you don't consider it canon.
Yeah, I'm just going to go back. I'm going to watch the original trilogy for Indiana Jones. So I did that, and goddamn, it is so much fun. Like it's as good as I remember it. I actually ended up found myself really enjoying Temple of Doom again. I know, like when we talked about it, a number of years ago,
Mm-hmm.
we were both kind of like down on it a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But you know what? It is a lot. It is a lot of fun. For what it is. It's probably the weakest of the trilogy, but it's still good.
Right. I mean, especially comparatively to what with like Crystal Skull and now Dial of Destiny, I'm sure it's a masterpiece in comparison.
Oh, it's yeah, like it's way better than any of those films.
Mm-hmm.
I also rewatched the Nolan Batman trilogy too, which is I just kind of like, fuck it. I feel like watching the Nolan trilogy again. And goddamn, those films are good too. Like even like Batman Begins is such a good movie. It's I like how they set up like the League of Shadows and Scarecrow, and how like Batman was kind of like because this is probably the only iteration of, at least as far as live action Batman. Ra's al Ghul is a great villain in the Batman repertoire, and I think that they really put it. Nolan used him very well as a character, and it kind of the trilogy ends up coming full circle. I mean, obviously we have The Dark Knight, which was not just a great comic book movie, but is potentially one of the greatest movies of all time. I mean, it's that good. And then with Dark Knight Rises, where it's kind of like comes full circle, and it's the League of Shadows, kind of coming back to kind of finish the mission, if you will, that Batman kind of put to a stop, all those years ago. And it's just I love how everything kind of Nolan really did a good job in kind of keeping everything connected and flowing in a really good way. So yes, can you watch the films like out of order? Absolutely. But when you watch them in order, it just like how it all flows together it's a masterpiece. It's probably maybe one of the best trilogies out there of all like the famous trilogies that are out there. I mean,
right. Your Star Wars, your Godfathers, your Indiana Joneses. Yeah. So I actually was thinking about Batman Begins.
It's really good, man.
It's really I know. I mean, a lot of people like I think a lot of people now would consider it kind of like almost like a necessary thing for like the franchise. But I think that Batman Begins could stand alone.
Oh, absolutely.
As a great as spectacular and well done as the Dark Knight is, I think Batman Begins is it's still a good movie in and of itself.
Oh, I found myself like I ended up. I've always liked it, but like it does kind of get lost, especially because the movie that comes after it, The Dark Knight, is just so it blows everything out of the water. But for a guy like me, I saw it in theaters when it first came out, and comparing it to the dog shit Batman films that we had before that, oh my god, like
I mean, at least Batman and Robin. Because I think Batman Forever is still a passable movie.
Batman and Robin was really fucking bad.
Yeah, Batman and Robin is really bad because like you can't take Tim Burton's version and then try to mix it with like the '60s Batman. Because that's what Joel Schumacher said he was trying to do. It's like he was trying to not necessarily Burton's vision, because he just kind of inherited the Burton iteration of Batman. And then he just tried to mix in like the campiness of like the '60s Batman, but it's just like it doesn't work.
Yeah, I'm probably in the minority in this, and I'm not saying that these movies are bad or like that. I think that they're that I personally think that they're trash. But I know a lot of people love like the Tim Burton Batman films, Batman and Batman Forever or Returns.
Returns, yeah.
I don't think that they hold up as well, to be honest.
The Burton Batmans?
Yeah, I don't. And well, he actually. So all those 4 films were supposed to be done by Tim Burton, but after Batman Returns, the studio essentially told us like, you don't want to do the next one, right? I mean, do you really want to do it? Like, I mean, they essentially like they didn't say it, but they were firing him without like actually firing him,
right?
And that's how Joel Schumacher took over. And Joel Schumacher is a good director, but his Batman films are bad. Oh my god. Yeah. Like it's just not,
I mean, again, I would right. I would still defend Forever though, but Batman and Robin was bad.
Oh, that would be maybe for Schlocktober 3, maybe we'll do one of the Joel Schumacher Batmans.
Maybe, yeah.
But oh my god, yeah. But no, like that. So coming off of that, and I was like, when Christopher Nolan was attached to this project, I was like, this is going to be interesting because Memento is one of my favorite movies of all time, and I really like his work. So having him like jump into the Batman, I was like, oh, I wonder how this is going to work. It's like this really talented director who he writes what he does too. So he's gonna I think he's gonna put an interesting spin on this. This could either be a disaster or it could be a giant success, and thank God it was a giant success. And if Batman Begins, although now it's kind of pales in comparison to The Dark Knight and maybe The Dark Knight Rises, by itself is still a masterpiece.
Oh yeah, yeah, and this is the first time that Ra's al Ghul gets to be is utilized in a film, and I think in a really good way too. It's making him Batman's mentor and kind of like a father figure to him, and that it is great. I absolutely loved it.
And you kind of had like the people trying to take over the Wayne Enterprises, like because that's always kind of there's been that storyline in the comics as well.
Mm-hmm.
We actually see that kind of in Batman Beyond, where you have people trying to overtake Wayne Enterprises and kind of use it for evil. We really need a Batman Beyond movie.
Yeah, and I mean, as much as I'm against like the whole like idea of like mantles and stuff, I think Batman Beyond did it the best. They did the whole like mantle passing thing the best.
Because we have the year of James Gunn. It's like, come on, James, movie. This is a great idea for you. It's like
I know because it's like
instead of having an elderly Michael Keaton, play Batman in the Flash movie, make him Bruce Wayne again. Make him like this kind of like more of the grizzled type of character that is, but there's still corruption in the city that needs to be fought in Gotham. And you set it in this kind of like futuristic setting, and you pass the torch for like I don't know who would play Terry McGinnis now, but to play that character. But I think there's something there, and there's a great rogues gallery in Batman Beyond too.
Right, yeah, because it's not just like cutting. It's not like I mean, no shade thrown at Marvel, but like like the Marvel 2099 iteration of like heroes. It wasn't just like copy paste, like particularly for like Spider-Man. Yeah, like Vulture 2099 or Doctor Octopus 2099. But with Batman Beyond, like they actually came up with like pretty unique villains for, like, given the time and the era that this particular iteration of Batman came about. I think they gave they're really creative with the villain, with the Rogues Gallery. And the Batman Beyond would be a great way to do a Batman movie, but not a Batman movie, and it's to be able to tell like different stories, and also introduce audiences who are Batman fans to this other, I would say, just as equally as interesting iteration of Batman. And so they could eat, so they don't have to constantly go back to the well of like the prime Batman of like Bruce Wayne and Joker and things like that.
Yeah, we don't have to have, and you can set up like a new origin. You can set up the Terry McGinnis origin story, and which is actually very similar to Bruce Wayne's story, but you can tell it in a different way.
Right.
And you get like the right director, the right writer behind it. Would you want the Justice League epilogue storyline mixed into it? Yeah, see, that's the thing. That's a perfect thing that you can do. You build up to it. You don't start with that. You build up to that.
Like for those of you who don't know, when Batman Beyond first came out, there was no familial connection between Bruce and Terry McGinnis. It's just like they yes, there was like echoes of of similar origins where Terry McGinnis's father is murdered by the big bad boss who was who was actually now in charge of the Wayne company. But it wasn't until Justice League where we get like kind of a fan service conclusion to the Batman Beyond story, and we find out that Terry McGinnis is actually the son of Bruce Wayne through certain science magic stuff.
Yeah, that's right.
And so but Robert said I would want to incorporate that, but not in the beginning. I'd want it to build.
Yeah, you set up like I said, this is where good writing comes in. You set those nuggets like early on, but like very subtly. You don't like. Do you get it? Did you see it?
Right, yeah. Little breadcrumbs here and there,
Yeah.
Like make them like have like the same blood type, and it's like, oh, that's like, let's say Bruce gets hurt and he needs a blood transfusion, and Terry is a match. It's like, oh, okay, wow, isn't that convenient? And then
how in in like the Batman, like how Alfred gets gets injured, and so we have that issue, but it's something similar to that where Bruce needs a blood transfusion. It's like, you're a perfect match. Okay, cool. And so in that first movie, he helps to try to help out Bruce or whatever, and
like little winks, and then it's like, and then it keeps going on. And I mean, I think in the Justice League episode epilogue, where it's revealed that as Bruce gotten older, like his body is obviously become degenerated, and so he needs an organ transplant, and then Terry just wanting to help his mentor test his blood, or gets himself tested, and he finds out that that genetically he's a perfect match. He's like he's a genetic match to Bruce, and and that's when he finds out that he's Bruce's son.
Yeah. See, like I said, James Gunn needs to listen to this podcast. Needs to tune in on Tuesdays for these great ideas that we're gonna just hand.
I know, right? All those fucking DEI weirdos. Fire them. Hire us. We'll have a proper writing room, and we'll help you make the next masterpiece.
There you go.
Okay.
But
all right, yeah. Well, let's.
So that's pretty much what I've been doing. I was kind of going back and like watching these great trilogies. And goddamn, they're still so freaking good. There's a reason why they're so highly regarded, and I actually ended up finding a good collector's edition Nolan Batman trilogy set that normally is like $50, but I got it for 10. I got a used version that's like in really good condition. So I was like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna get I get this great set of films with all these like great special features for like $10. I actually also picked up an old Western that I've been wanting to get from the Criterion Collection, the Red River, directed by Howard Hawks, starring John Wayne and Montgomery Clift. And I also picked up a Blu-ray copy of another one of my favorite films that I know nobody else most know about it, or the ones that have seen it are like, what the fuck is this? And it is Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man, which I think I've shown. I think I forced you and Eric to watch it, and you're like, yeah, that was a movie. And I was like, you guys didn't enjoy it? Come on.
Yeah, it was something. It was something.
But Shout Factory had a Blu-ray of it with a bunch of special features and stuff like that. So I was like, I should pick this up. And it was also like $10, so it was not that bad. So I picked up well, technically 5 movies, but like I bought 3 different Blu-ray sets. But yeah, that's been my week, and I guess we can kind of dive into our topics, which kind of coalesce together.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Trying to coming up with topics for tonight. We didn't even know exactly which way to go, and there was a topic that Robert wanted to do, but it was contingent on me watching this video, and I didn't have time to watch it. But you know, I'm not gonna let you down. So we were able to come up with a couple of topics, and actually they kind of dovetailed into each other. And so that's why there's only one title for the topic, which is actually 2 topics, but you know they'll kind of seamlessly flow into each other. And you know, the title comes from, you know, the story of the boy who cried wolf. You know, and for those of you unaware, I'll just quickly run through, you know, the boy who cried wolf, and that's the story of a young shepherd boy who's tasked to watch over his flock. You know, and you know, him being young and restless, he gets bored and, you know, and lonesome, and so, you know, he cries wolf. And the townspeople, the villagers, come and, you know, ready to help him, you know, fend off the wolf. But he, you know, very proud of himself, you know, getting, you know, tricking the townspeople to come and, you know, break up his loneliness. You know, he says like, oh no, I was able to chase him off, and then, you know, they all celebrate him, and, you know, and the next day he does the same thing, and the villagers come, and again he like kind of like giggles with delight, and again says like, oh, I was able to chase him off, and then, you know, and then the third time he does it, and like by that time the townspeople are kind of getting, the villagers are getting onto his little game. And the fourth time he does it, you know, a wolf actually does show up, but then, you know, because the villagers are, you know, tired of his shit, they ignore him, and what is it? The wolf, you know, devour the flock and devour the boy. And so, yeah, what we want to talk about is, you know, the when, the where, and the how to cry wolf. Well, for me, like the topic that I want to talk about had to deal with, you know, the video that Jamie Foxx put out recently, you know, addressing his, you know, medical issues, and then also just today, I believe, LeBron, you know, the news coming out that LeBron's son, you know, having that heart attack, and him being
young kid.
yeah, being a young man, having this condition, seemingly healthy young man, and he's having a heart attack. And heart attacks don't just happen. They're mostly associated with old age or or weak hearts.
They've been happening a lot lately.
Yeah, and there's kind of like that joke where it's like, oh, what did he die of suddenly?
Jesus. It's like, think of usually the people who have some sort of heart attack, whatever. I don't know if you've seen John Q with Denzel Washington, but his son had
yeah, he had a pre-existing condition.
Yeah, and so his son had a heart attack, and I think his son was 10 years old. It's but that's because he had a condition that caused it. Usually the people who do get heart attacks are people who get they have clogged arteries or some sort of other
there's some degenerative thing associated with aging,
right,
or wear and tear. But this is LeBron's kid. He's a young man. We're not privy to his medical histories, but we could assume that he has no condition
money can buy.
Right, and since since he's a young man, we could maybe assume that he has no medical issues, or at least ones that that haven't been disclosed.
Right.
And so the thing I wanted to talk about is about, I guess it's a situational ethics conundrum, where it's particularly dealing with well-known or famous people. It's is it your duty as a well-known and or famous person to let people know of dangers that they might not necessarily be aware of?
Yeah, especially if you are because this has been a topic I think we've touched on in other ways too, where there's always oh, I need to use my platform for something. It's which I think there is a case for that, especially for this. If they are privy to something that happened, it's I'm not an expert, but this happened to me, and because of side effects of this or that, and just be careful. Consult with your consult with people before you do this medical take this medication or do this. I think there is an obligation for that, just because whether we like it or not, LeBron James is going to have a wider reach than you or I. It's just going to happen because he is a famous athlete. Everyone, when even if you're not a basketball fan, whoa, LeBron James, I know that guy. He plays on that LA basketball team, right? Yeah, it's kind of the same. There are certain people that transcend their sport, and they are famous for famous sake. Especially, he's obviously was in the Space Jam remake, so a lot of people know him from that. You have people that oh yeah, I know that person from somewhere. They say they're very popular. I see them on commercials, I see them on this, and I see them on that all the time. So they're gonna have a wider reach, and if there's something that where they could make a difference in helping people, it doesn't necessarily have to be monetarily either. Although, sometimes that does happen. You put your money where your mouth is if you really care about a cause. But if they know something and they can all it is just using their platform to pass on information. Hey, this happened to me. Be careful. And just because it could help save somebody.
Right, and and I gave the example of this, the fable of the boy who cried wolf. It's just a wolf was an actual threat to the village, and so the boy making light of it. When it actually did happen, no one believed him.
Well, I mean, hell, LeBron James is the boy who cried wolf in a lot of ways. I mean, like, he's of all like the fake race hoax shit that's been going on. Like, LeBron is like, no one remembers that like LeBron had one of those, and then it wasn't. Actually, sorry, it was really him probably doing it, and like it just kind of disappeared.
Because I mean, yeah, his house had video cameras, but like. Interestingly, the cameras weren't working that night, so they didn't catch the who painted nigger on his gate.
Oh man!
It just happened to work out for that racist guy, who's probably white.
Oh, of course, he might have had a Trump hat on too. Also.
Right.
But like
right.
Well, I'm just too is because it's stuff like that now no one pays attention to that stuff. Like honestly, like when I hear there was this horrible racist thing, like it's like okay, well let's see how long that lasts, because I'm pretty sure that story is some fake bullshit, which
right.
Usually 99% of the time it turns out to be, which hurts people who actually do have those type of attacks that happen to them. Same thing with like the rape hoaxes that go on. So instead of using your platform for that, like use it for something good.
Yeah, I mean now like when a girl says like I got raped, it's like I just answer back to her, it's like you probably were asking for it. But I mean it's not because like it's not because of me, it's because they because of all these these made up stories. I mean, you have like the UVM chick, and you have Duke Lacrosse, you have Mattress Girl. All of these instances that have been proven to be false. Okay, and so it's not me. It's not I'm an asshole or I'm indifferent to rape or whatever. It's because you made me indifferent to rape.
The other one that people don't want to admit to either is like Stormy Daniels, like how she never slept with Donald Trump. Like she had to, like when it came to like when she was under oath in court, she's like, yeah, that never happened, and it's like all of it was bullshit, and she actually owes Trump money. Like like she
did she admit that they never had sex?
In court, like yeah, she said like no, it never happened. And like so she was initially suing for a certain amount of money, and now like it kind of flipped, and like where now she owes him for like defamation, and so she's paying that off. It's like that's a story that got buried.
Okay, but yeah, going back to Jamie Foxx though, he had that stroke, whatever, and he came out with his. He came out with the video saying, addressing like, oh, I'm okay. I heard like the wild rumors that I got cloned or whatever, and that video didn't make me hate Jamie Foxx. Just to be clear, but I think, like the timing of his seizure, and it happened around the time where like everyone was getting jabbed up. And just like, so why can't we, try and make the correlation, or try, or even in the attempts to make the correlation, completely discount that possibility. And I mean, I think, someone as famous as Jamie Foxx, I think, it'd be the equivalent of, say we were living in a small village, and he goes and eats a berry. He goes and eats like some berry and like with like spots on it, and it has like and it has like 5 leaves, and he then gets sick. He gets he gets paralyzed and he loses his sight, but he doesn't warn anybody else. I think that's the functional, like that'd be the functional equivalent. Like he went and ate some berries, You know, he got sick, but then he's not telling anyone, oh, don't eat those berries.
Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing, because, he's a little bit of an older guy. Like, he's, what, in his 50s?
Right, yeah, and I...
Well, he's also in good shape. Like, he, obviously... You know,
right, which I do also... what is it? How do I phrase this? Which I do concede. Yes, you know, he's kind of an older guy, and then, you know, he's also he's a superstar. You know, he probably has a lot of stressors in his life.
I mean, I'm just saying that there is a possibility.
Right, there are other explanations. There are other explanations for sure.
And but then you look at like LeBron's son.
Right.
I mean, that's seemingly like a kid that's like not even in his prime yet, and he's having a heart attack.
Yeah, I mean, again, like I can totally concede that it could be some other medical issue with Jamie Foxx. I mean, hell, I didn't even know this, but apparently even Martin Lawrence had a stroke, kind of like around the same age as Jamie Foxx did. Around the same age as when Jamie Foxx had his like medical issue and stuff. And so yeah, I completely concede the fact that, you know, it could have been something else. It didn't necessarily have to be the jab or anything like that.
You know, I also wonder.
But if it was the jab, you know, I do think that Jamie Foxx and again, I don't know what the situation with LeBron is, whether it's vax related or not. But if it is connected, then I do think that they do have a moral responsibility to say something about it.
Oh yeah, and I do agree with you on that. You know, I just, I mean, I'm glad that. I mean, I don't know about like LeBron's son, like because I know heart attacks are like bad in themselves, but I know that when you have a heart attack at like a young age, it actually has. I've heard this. I don't know if this is actually true or not, but like it's actually more dangerous having it when you're younger. Like it almost like it's because it's such a. I don't know. It tends to attack like younger people in a more deadly way. Whereas like, you know, yeah, an older guy could have a heart attack, but they tend to handle it pretty well. I don't know if it's like there's something like in the body that like it's like, oh, you're just getting older, and like it's just kind of like, oh, we're gonna, you know, you have to go to the hospital obviously, but there's a lot of like young people who get these like sudden heart attacks, you know, for whatever reason, whether it be through they took something that like affected their heart or whatever, and it just, you know, they drop dead like right there. It's like kind of the for whatever reason.
Right. I mean, yeah, heart attacks are no laughing matter.
No, they're not. They're,
you know, I mean, that's why the idiom exists, like serious as a heart attack, because yeah, it takes a toll on your body. I mean, as much as like an older person may be able to withstand it, you know, they're never they're not the same person afterwards. Like they're weak, they're physically weaker than before. And so, yeah, with LeBron's kid, like I'm sure, like he's not going to be the same, you know, same kid that he was prior to the heart attack. Yeah, but he's not going to be the same. His physicality might be diminished because of this.
And he's like in the prime of his life,
right?
Not even, and having a heart attack that age, that's gonna like really sap his strength and everything. It's like, and
I mean, like who knows? Like he could have been just as good a ball player as his daddy, but you know, and he might have even surpassed him. But now with this, like who knows? His potential might have been cleaved in half.
Yeah, and that's the and I'm not saying like, you know, air out like your medical history and everything so that all of us can know. Like that's not the point.
Right.
But,
right.
Like,
neither of us are saying that.
Yeah.
Just as just as we were against having to share our medical data, our medical history, because like the Vax Pass or whatever, for like the past 2-3 years, like we'd be hypocrites if we say like, oh no, LeBron has to share everything about his son's medical history so we can know for sure that it wasn't the vaccine. We're not saying that.
No, but if there's something that they find out through like kind of through whatever test that his son is going through, or like with Jamie Foxx, whatever test, I mean, because they're going through a myriad of tests, like trying to figure out how did this happen.
Mm-hmm.
What is the cause of this? And you don't have to tell us everything, but like, hey, this happened because of this. Be careful of whatever whatever X is.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. That's all that we're asking for. Like, hey, use your platform and be kind of help warn people. Hey, if it was something with like stress that caused Jamie Foxx's stroke or whatever he had, or with like Martin Lawrence too, like hey, you know what, it's be really careful with like at a certain age, like kind of eliminate some of the stress in your life, and don't obviously you have to work hard, but find ways to to release that stress somewhere, or if it's something like, hey, you know what, I'm okay. My family has a medical history. It's nothing that like I did. There's nothing. Yeah, I'm in good shape, but like there's really nothing I could have done. This happens in like my family. Okay, or in that case, we don't have to say anything to us. But if there's some outside influence that caused it, like you said, the person that goes into that village and needs a berry and becomes paralyzed or can't see because of that berry they ate. Well, you would hope that they would warn everyone else, and that's kind of like what we're talking about. Like, if there's
right, or even like the opposite, where it's like, it's like, oh no, it wasn't because of this berry. It's because I have a pre-existing condition, or my family has a history of such and such, a temporary blindness and paralysis.
Yeah, and so it helps eliminate some of the crazy theories that go around, and it helps people too. But,
exactly. Yeah. I mean, yeah, especially like, yeah, because like, it was pretty incredible that people, we weren't even allowed to discuss like the possibilities of different treatments, or like the origin of the beer bug. For 3 years, and like maybe we could have gotten to the bottom of it, and gone to like better treatment if we were allowed to freely discuss it.
Now, honestly, there's that's because we're not the science. That's why
we're not the science. I know.
There's
Tony Palpatine.
There's a film that it makes me think of too, because have you ever seen Dallas Buyers Club?
No.
Bro, let me tell you, because speaking of Dr. Fauci, right? Because it was because
Tony
of guys
Palpatine?
like him and the pharmaceutical companies that were essentially selling. They were creating the vaccine and selling it, and they put a lot of money behind politicians and legislatures and guys like Dr. Fauci, so that if you ever and obviously all those people run to their friends in the media, and so anyone discussing stuff about like, maybe we should talk about this, like, and like, let's there's not a whole lot of testing, and we're concerned about, like, I'm not saying that we'll not do it, but like, can we figure this out first before we like jump to some rash decision? No, how dare you? You're not a doctor, you're not a scientist, but we're the one, I am the science. It's like, come on. And this is why you get people that go crazy over this. Like, well, then I'm not going to put this in my body. It's like there's so many things that have happened like in the past, and especially like to the the communities that they think that they are try to raise up, like, you know, there's a lot of black people and like minorities who did not want to take that because they've had people who've experimented on them in the past.
Right.
Like,
Well, I mean, yeah, with the black community, it's completely understandable their hesitation. I mean, like with like the whole Tuskegee experiment, which people like they started in the 20s. They started in the 20s and then they didn't stop until the 70s. All right, let that sink in there. Let that sink in there. All right, they started in the 20s and they didn't They didn't stop until the 70s.
So, yeah. Do you think that you might be kind of hesitant to put some, you know, crazy shit that the government is telling you to put in your body?
Or the government is calling medicine.
Yeah, it's good for you. It's like, fuck you, man. Like that, no way. And I'm not, like I said, there have been like great vaccines in the past that have changed the course of medical history, that have solved issues that killed people in the past, but now it's like you take the shot and it doesn't affect you. You know, like polio is one of the, you know, there's all sorts of stuff that have been miracles of medical science that have been great for humanity. But like this is not a medical miracle. There's something else going on with this thing, and you know, we're not going to find the results of these tests, and there's a reason why they like lobbied to like, oh, well, we can't be sued or have anything done or inquiries done for what, like 50 years? Or something crazy like that?
The test results that, you know, the trials that they conducted, they want to slow roll the results. You know, they want to take up to 75 years to release that data.
What is this, the JFK investigation? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, we'll be bone and dust by the time you know, that information is released.
God damn, like, it's just nuts, man. Like, but yeah, I think you are right that you know, someone in that caliber of society that does have a great platform that people do listen to, whether it's right or wrong, people do listen to them, and they are influenced by those people. And so, well, you don't have to disclose everything. It's like, hey, don't eat that, or don't do this. This is what happened to me. Or you should probably try this. It helped me to, you know, to get better or whatever. And yeah, I totally agree with you, man.
I'm glad we're on the same page.
Yeah. But on the flip side of that, I was I don't know if you've been following the interwebs, and but if you have or you haven't, the big story, or at least in pop culture now, is this is the big Barbenheimer weekend. So, you know, the Oppenheimer came out this weekend, which I'm going to be seeing tomorrow, and there was also the Barbie movie that came out, which honestly, like, I already, without like, you know, I'd seen some of the trailers or whatever, which they did a really good job in not, you know, kind of showing their cards too much.
Yeah.
But that's not. But here's the thing, it's not a movie that I'm going to be interested in. I don't.
Yeah, you're not the target demo.
I'm not a 14-year-old girl. Or I'm not a 10-year-old girl. So that's one. But the other thing is, like, I knew that Greta Gerwig was attached to it, and I don't really like her as a director. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, I've seen her movies. We've watched Lady Bird together. We've seen Marriage Story, and some of her.
Wait,
other
she
works.
directed that?
She.
I thought it was the other guy.
Did she do? She wasn't attached to Squid and the Whale, was she?
Not that I can remember, but I thought it was a dude director for both Squid and Whale and Marriage Story.
No, I think Greta Gerwig did Marriage Story. Maybe I'm wrong. I know she did Lady Bird.
All right, hold on. Yeah, I know that for sure.
Yeah, check that out. But anyways, so I don't really like her as a. I think she has a great eye. Like her movies don't look bad. Like visually, they always look pretty good. She's, you know, this is gonna be a weird comparison. She is the non-horror version of Rob Zombie. You know, has a great eye, is a good director, but her dialogue and her like her story, like, you know, she's too focused on the message, not not like on putting together a good movie. I mean,
really quickly, Marriage Story was directed by Noah Baumbach.
Oh well, he was attached with the Barbie movie too. I think they worked together. I think on a lot of projects.
Yeah, he also did the screenplay for that.
But anyways, so when so this is one of the big movie weekends. Probably the biggest movie weekends, at least since all the COVID craziness that happened, and so everyone was really excited. Oh, I'm gonna go watch both. All the film people I follow was like, oh yeah, we're super excited for Barbenheimer. And there's a whole hashtag and everything. I'm like, oh my god, like, and after Barbie came out, like you have the usual people who are like, oh, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. It's so good, you know. And but then you have guys like who I don't know if you saw the Ben Shapiro kind of breakdown of Barbie and like some of the conservative outlets that were talking about it. And just, I mean, demolishing this film. And it's pretty much like what I expected, because I knew Greta Gerwig was attached to it. I don't know why anybody was fucking surprised that it was some, like, feminist claptrap bullshit. But yeah, so now you have, like, this, where, whether it be through positive or negative, this film that is not, it has, like, a certain message that is actually, I think, very detrimental to a lot of things, and doesn't really have a good message, and doesn't really create a good discussion on anything, but it's being blown up because of all the controversy behind it, whether you liked it or not. And I have to wonder, because we obviously talk about movies, we talk about certain things in the culture, but when do you, like, you know, this we were talking about, like, with the whole Bud Light issue, like where, you know, don't buy 30 cases of Bud Light just to, you know, on TikTok to take a machine gun to them or blow them up, you know, because then, like, while you think that you're doing something to, like, oh man, we really should,
right, yeah, you think you're owning them, but you just handed them a fistful of money.
Yeah, man, they really showed us.
Right.
And I also wonder that too, like, is by like, just instead of just ignoring the situations, like, for me, I'm like, I'm not gonna go see the movie, like, and I'm not, because I don't, one, I don't like Barbies, and two, I'm not really a fan of the director, but you know, it's like, if that's a movie that you like, great, I don't care. But when do you think it's appropriate to, like, maybe, like, you know, comment on these things, and like, kind of, hey, this is like this is something that people should not see, and kind of, like, you know, and do that, or when is it, like, or should we, in most of these cases, just to not give it the air that it needs for the you know, to to engulf more, you know, when do we just ignore it, or when do we talk about it with these situations?
Well, I mean, I think if it's your job, like, if you're a film critic or you're someone who talks about film for, you know, a living or a passion, then, you know, I think, you know, you should comment, sure. if you're, I guess if you're a concerned citizen, then I guess if you can bring it up, but then after that, once you've brought it up, then that's it. Like the rest is in other people's hands. I wrestle with this all the time because there's people who I talk with, I interact with, and they sometimes they say pretty woke or just ridiculous things, and and I always have to fight myself and like do I speak up, and if I do speak up, what method should I use? Should I berate them? Should I, calmly discuss with them? And I guess, you just have to, determine that for yourself. I early on, last 3 years, I always talked about, knowing when to draw your sword.
Yeah, and that's kind of the idea here.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I think if you're in the space where you do commentary like like we do, like a lot of YouTubers do, I think we could we could talk about it, sure. If you're just interested in it, then I think you do have a right to comment as well. But again, I think it all comes down to when to draw your sword. Is this person like attacking me, which then I should draw my sword, or are they just confused, or they don't understand like all the details of the situation? Then then that would be my job to let them know, like, hey, this is the situation, this is the controversy, this is the undisputed facts of the situation. Here's this interpretation. Here's this other interpretation, and then you leave the ultimate decision to that person.
Yeah, I think you're kind of right in that. Obviously, we are in the movie scope, so I mean, and we do talk a lot about pop culture.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, we did talk about like the Bud Light controversy, but what we didn't do, we kind of gave like it's like, what, it's okay. You don't throw, you already, it's kind of like when, you had the Nike thing where people are like, oh, fuck Nike, and they're burning their stuff. It's like, well, you already gave them the money for Nike. Like, just don't wear it.
Yeah, especially those, the Colin Kaepernick thing. Like, those people.
Like somebody is like, because it's still good stuff. There's a homeless guy who needs shoes. Give them away. Or
I mean the people who we're not talking about the people who already had those jerseys or shoes or cases of Bud Light. We're not talking about those people, but the people who went out after like the whole controversy and then paid good money to buy a new thing and then destroy that thing. Yeah, those people are idiots. Those people are jackasses.
Yeah, that's stupid. Like, don't do that. Like, obviously, like, I'm not gonna go out to see the Barbie movie unless if you want if you want to torture Andy and I, you can send I'll say $250 courtesy of Circle of Jerks podcast for Andy and I to go watch Barbie, and then like
I have the same price as when Robert asked if I'd watch the new Indiana Jones movie. It's like, if my ticket is paid, I get a large popcorn and a giant icy. That's my price.
You know what? That I might have to make that happen. I don't know if it's in theaters anymore though.
But that's my price. I want a fully paid for ticket, a large popcorn, and a large icy.
Oh, see, no, I see, because I know I'm gonna hate it, and I'm gonna sit through 2 hours of just like.
I don't know. That's what fine. All right. Okay, fine, and fine then. Also an ice cream bar.
Oh, okay. Damn, you're real splurging there.
Dude, like, if you're gonna make me sit there and inject visual aids into my eyeballs, then I think that's the least I can do. That's the least. That's the least you can do for me.
we'll review the movie. But like a lot of the more recent films that have been going on, I can't bring myself to give a damn. Like when Ghostbusters 2016 came out, the shitty like female version, I was just like, similar to like a couple other YouTubers, like, you know what? It's like I refuse. I'm not gonna watch it. You know why? Because I know I'm not gonna like it, and I don't want to. The reason I do the movie reviews is not. I don't necessarily want to bash on a film and like talk shit about it. That's not why I go to watch movies.
We go to watch movies to be entertained, to get out of the heat, or be entertained for a couple of hours. That's it.
I watch and enjoy movies that Andy thinks are garbage.
Absolute dog shit. Visual aids.
And now, okay, here's the thing. Would you? Here's a would you rather? Would you rather watch Barbie or Wizard of the Clown and the Christmas Circus?
I'd rather have visual aids injected into my eyes.
That's a way to
I'd rather have a homeless dude's piss injected into my eyeballs.
Would you rather watch Ghostbusters 2016 or Birdemic?
Again, I'd rather have a homeless dude's piss injected into my eyes.
I think you're missing the point of the game here, Andy.
Yeah, but I don't believe in false binaries.
Oh, see, when my wife gives me one of these things, like I choose death. It's like that's not an option. It's like death is always an option.
Exactly. I don't believe in false binaries. There's always a third option.
Oh man. But yeah, I think like if you're in the right scope, like if you deal with like pop culture, if you deal with we're movie guys, so if I for some godforsaken reason was kind of forced to watch Barbie. Obviously if I was getting paid for it, I would do it, but I can't bring myself to do it because I don't. You know what? I'll say this: it's a film. It's a completed film, and the people who worked on this film, although it was definitely about the message, they did something that I can't do. I can put something like that together. So like, congratulations for them on completing a film.
There it is.
I will say it does visually. It looks good. From the trailers and all like the clips I've seen, it does look like a very
competently made movie.
Yeah, and that's why I say Greta Gerwig is she's the non-horror Rob Zombie. Like visually it looks stunning. It's dog shit. But I don't watch films just to like fucking hate on them. Like sometimes I have watched a lot of bad films, and I know the difference between a film that like it's like it's just bad. Like there's only been like a handful of films I go to where it's like I'm angry after I watch them. Like the Suicide Squad. I watched that movie for free, and I was still pissed off. It's like, what the fuck did was I subjected?
Well, I mean,
I can't get those. Can I get time back because this movie is dog shit? Or
I don't get why movies are the only products that if you don't like, the maker will go out and attack you. It's like if a car manufacturer puts out a bad car, like aesthetically it's unappealing, the features aren't that impressive, the horsepower isn't that great, and like they don't sell a lot of them. They don't go, oh, because you're all just bigots, that's why you want to buy this car.
Now debuting the Homer.
Right.
I'm ruined.
It's like in no other product-based company or product-based endeavor, is the producer or the manufacturer allowed to then criticize the customer. Like again, like if a certain shoe doesn't do that well, right? Yeah, the manufacturer, like Nike, they put out a dog shit shoe. The colors are all wrong. The design is whack. they don't go out and say, oh, it's just because you're racist bigots. That's why you don't want to wear this shoe.
Like, excuse me?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Like, as crazy as that response from like Nike or like a car manufacturer would be against their customer base, why is it okay for these movie studios to then levy these accusations or these ad hominems to their customer base?
Yeah, we've talked about that. It's like I actually repeat, like when that stuff happens, when there's legitimate criticism like lobbied at, like, you know what, like this is a popular franchise, and like I know you have to do things some things differently, but like this just doesn't look right. It doesn't even like remotely appeal to, like, it does zero fan service, and well, that's because you're a fucking racist, misogynist bastard. What? No, I don't. It's like when that happens, like, you already know that the movie is going to be dog shit, and then they're spitting on you on top of that. It's like, if you don't watch our dog shit, like, you're the what's wrong with America. It's like, fuck you, person, whoever you are, actor.
Yeah, you're right. Or studio executive.
Yeah, it's like, go to hell. Like, and then you wonder, like, oh God, we lost. The movie cost $300 million, and we only, it only made $10 million. We're fucked. It's like, yeah, you wonder why. You wonder why.
Exactly. Yeah. For some reason,
like
movies. Yeah, movies are the only product where the producer or the maker can go and attack the customer.
What do you mean they didn't want to watch Cuties?
Yeah, I mean, exactly.
You're not you need to be with the minor attracted person community. It's like, fuck if I do.
Yeah, I mean, like, imagine Hostess comes out with some new pastry cake, and it tastes like dog shit, and people go out and say, like, yeah, this tastes like dog shit, and they come out and like, oh, we're just racist, bigot, homophobe.
Did you know that black trans person made this?
I know, right? Exactly.
That doesn't make it any better.
I don't care. That doesn't help your. That doesn't help your argument.
It doesn't matter.
Right? That doesn't help your argument.
It's like, well, there were so many women that were involved in this film. Doesn't that make it better? No.
If the end product is not good, then it actually makes a case for making it, like, it's making a case that you shouldn't have all women casts or all black casts or productions or whatever. It just completely destroys the point. Destroys the argument.
There was a trans handicapped person that directed the film. Doesn't that make it better? No.
So you're actually making an argument against having black handicapped trans people direct movies.
Exactly. It's like just stop it. This shit that it's. I want the best people doing the best work. It's not gonna work every time. Like, I understand. Like, there's films that you're gonna have your popcorn films.
Your big summer tentpoles.
Yeah, you're not really supposed to think about it, but it's fun. Then there are films that are like more artistic and like they're trying to go for something, and not everyone's gonna get those. That's okay too. And then there's gonna be the deep films, the great classics that everyone's like, fuck, I know I just watched something like magical. I know this film is like 20 years from now, people are still gonna talk about this film. And like I said, you don't know how to define it, but you know it when you see it.
Yeah, it's the Scalia argument.
And all those films are great. But like, and it doesn't matter like who the fuck makes it or who's in the cast. It's about people doing good work. It's not just the acting, it's the writing, it's the directing, it's the people behind the cameras and how they frame everything, the costume design. It's a team effort. And if the team sucks, well, guess what? It's the same thing in sports. If your team sucks, you're in last place, buddy. and you're not winning a championship, okay? Like, and it's the same thing with the film industry. Okay, great. You want to have a team of these people? Well, guess what? That team sucks, and they haven't done anything good. So why? And you want to hitch your wagon to a losing ride? Go for it, buddy. But don't expect people to like your work.
Indeed.
God, just like, and like, I know people like need to hear this, but just because they're, you know who gets disrespected a lot. Like, people don't think of him as a good director, but if you want like a good person of color who's he's a competent director and has made some really great films, including, I think some people would argue, is like at least in the top 100 best films, Antoine Fuqua. Why don't people use him more often?
Yeah.
He's a black guy, and he's a great director.
He did Training Day. He did what is it, Magnificent Seven. He did the recent Amazon show with Chris Pratt, Terminal List.
Yeah. He's amazing.
Yeah, he did that. What's that other Denzel movie he did? He played a Navy shrink.
Yeah, he's actually worked with Denzel a lot.
Yeah. Those two are like constant like collaborators.
Yeah, it's like he's really good.
But yeah, Antoine Fuqua is great.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, like they're. And here's the thing,
Antoine Fisher, that's what it was. Antoine Fisher.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen that in forever, but that is a good film.
Mm-hmm.
But like, and then we look at like Korea is kicking our ass in film right now. They're consistently putting out great stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Bong Joon-ho is probably, and I would say Park Chan-wook and Bong Joon-ho are two of the greatest living directors right now. They consistently and Bong Joon-ho does like a little bit more like mainstream stuff, whereas Park Chan-wook, he's putting out like those artsy films. I mean, he's the guy who did Old Boy, for God's sakes, and he just did Decision to Leave. I don't know. Did you ever watch Thirst?
No, I haven't.
That is a crazy fucking film, but it's really good.
Yeah.
And if you want to bring like someone like that over to do like an American film, like, and it kind of happened with Bong Joon-ho, like with Snowpiercer, that is a Korean American
production,
which is why we have Chris Evans, which is, to be honest, like that's one of his great roles too. He's really good in that. There's that, like I don't know, like current Japanese directors, but like Japan, like, or at least for a while, was putting out like really great stuff. Actually, the guy who did Shin Godzilla, he's putting out a lot of great stuff. I think he's a Toho director. But yeah, like it's just because it doesn't matter what your skin color is or your gender. It matters like the product you put out. Like what are you putting out on the field for everyone to enjoy? Are you striking out? Are you hitting a pop-up? Are you even making fucking contact on the ball? Like, that's what matters. Like, what are you doing? And there's a reason why certain directors and certain actors keep getting the work, because no one likes a lot of like these like new guys, or not because they don't want a new person in there. It's just because that person's not good. They don't have a body of work, and they're being handed. They get these projects that they're being handed. It's like they don't. Not only do they not know anything about about whatever they're being handed, but they hate what they're being handed. It's like, well, I'm gonna completely reinvent this. What if Indiana Jones was a sad old man? It's like, fuck, what the fuck are you doing? Like, stop it.
Stop it. Get some help.
Although James Mangold did this new one, and that's, to be honest, he's actually a good director. It just honestly, after Crystal Skull, I don't think anyone was really into Indiana Jones coming back.
I don't know, but I think lately Mangold's been kind of too fixated on like the world weary old man, kind of like done with life sort of thing, like kind of like what he did in Logan.
Wow, yeah, Logan's really good though.
I know, but he tried to apply that.
Ford versus Ferrari isn't like that though.
Huh?
Ford versus Ferrari is not like that.
Well, kinda, because what is it? The Ken Miles character. He's kind of an old character.
Well, yeah, but like that's actually what happened though.
Yeah, but again, like it's like an older guy who's like maybe like getting up in years. He's not the typical age for a man to be doing that sort of thing.
The one thing I see about like Mangold too is he's a fan of westerns. He's the guy that did the 3:10 to Yuma remake. By the way.
Yeah, that's right.
And so I look at like, and what's great about westerns is that the good westerns are always about like where the period of the West is ending, and there's a shift in like civilization is coming, and the people that are kind of like the gunslingers.
Right, or civilization is coming. Before it used to be wild and untamed, but like civilizing elements are coming into that.
But you also have that road weary character who's like they're trying to hold on to something. They are the old guard.
Right, but I don't. Yeah, but see, but that's what I think. Like that's what I think he's tried to do with Indiana Jones, and that's not the right application for that specific character. And that's
I agree. Like, so I think his vision for things would not work for that. But like but in his previous films, and
I mean, and all the credit to the world for James Mangold for effectively executing his vision for those projects. But again, I think he's applying that Western weary gunslinger thing onto Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones is not that character.
No, I will agree with you there. I don't think that his vision for things works for that. It works in like more of I'm actually kind of like, because there's a few other films that he did. Like I didn't realize that was him that did Ford v Ferrari, which I think was a
I love that movie. That movie's great.
It's awesome. He also did Night and Day, which I was like, oh shit, really? Like, which is a film I really enjoyed.
Wait, Night and Day. Who's in that?
He does a lot of.
Wait, who's in Night and Day?
Night and Day with Tom Cruise and Cameron Diaz. But like a lot of his films do, because he is a huge fan of westerns. I think he said that 3:10 to Yuma and like High Noon are some of his favorite films. And obviously we haven't done High Noon, but we did 3:10 to Yuma, the original and the remake.
Mm-hmm.
And he did the remake of 3:10 to Yuma. But when I just did a review for Copland, and that hasn't come out yet, but he did that movie. That was his second ever movie, and like the final scene is fucking 3:10 to Yuma and High Noon kind of slammed together, and it's so good with Stallone. That movie is brilliant, and he's kind of like this road weary sheriff who kind of gets tired of the corruption in his town. And I think, like I said, Mangold has a certain vision for things, and then, but yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, I would say
Western character.
I would say he likes to work with a certain palette, but that palette did not work with Indiana Jones, or at least I think, because again, I haven't seen Indiana Jones, but from what I hear, it's kind of a lot of different movies. Like it's like that Mangold, world-weary gunslinger type, and then also like the boss girl, Kathleen Kennedy insert, and kind of wild action adventure romp, all in the same movie.
Now I have heard that it's better than Crystal Skull, which is not hard to do, but it's like, is it good enough to be worthy of a watch? That I don't know
Yeah,
yet.
you know my requirements. All right, fully paid for ticket, large popcorn, icy.
How about this? We'll wait for it to come out on streaming. We'll watch it together and then we'll review it. And I'll make it dinner.
Acceptable.
And there'll be cold beer too, so
acceptable.
Just in case it sucks, we can make fun of it while we're drunk.
Acceptable.
But yeah, I think you know, to go back to the topic to wrap it up. Yeah, like I'm just I'm always a little worried that maybe we bring a little bit too much light to things that should just like kind of die and go away. But at the same time, I think some of these topics become important, and I think we have a different enough perspective on things that we're doing something different. And sometimes you do have to capture these things that are in the cultural zeitgeist, you know, while they're there.
Yeah, and I mean, what is it? Like I believe in personal boycotts and not general boycotts. You know, and I think, you know, and yeah, you can say like, oh, well, what are you? You're just spit in the bucket. Like, yeah, but at least, you know, I'm doing something. You know, and also like for things like that, I do want to die. That's why I don't advocate for them. And like, kind of like with this last season of Picard. Like, as much as I did enjoy it, you know, I am, you know, weary that if Paramount, you know, Paramount CBS or whatever the entity is calling itself, if they see good numbers for it, then they might be tempted to extend it, and you know, maybe we won't get a Terry Matalas, you know, who has an obvious love for the source material and the franchise. You know, maybe we don't get Terry Matalas again. Maybe we get someone else with, you know, who's trying to push their own, you know, their own agenda, their own ideology. And so that's why at the time I didn't push the third season, even though I enjoyed it.
Yeah, you told me that, which I was really surprised by, because everything I heard about like the first couple seasons, like, well, that's fucking dog shit. I don't want to watch that.
Well, yeah, like, I saw the first season. I was like, oh, and that's why I told you don't watch the first season, because it's utter garbage. It doesn't it totally destroys. It totally destroys the character of Picard, and also Seven of Nine, which I know she was a Voyager character, but I did watch Voyager, and I actually liked Seven of Nine as a character, but then they I mean, kind of to use a maybe poignant metaphor, but they dirtied up the Barbie. You know, yeah. I mean, because Jeri Ryan was very attractive back in the day, and like, you know, her main costume was a catsuit, which, you know, didn't hurt things. I don't, at least for me. But beyond the sex appeal, her character was interesting because she was a person who. Her character was someone who got assimilated by the Borg, you know, at a very young age, when she was still a child. And so as she grew up, that's all she knew is the Borg and the Borg Collective. And then, you know, her tie to the Collective was severed, and she then had to regain her humanity.
That's fucking interesting.
Yeah. And so, like, yeah, like she was kind of like, you know, one of those, you know, what you would call, like, you know, one of those types with a stick up her ass. But, you know, what made her enjoyable and entertaining was her, like, loosening and, you know, and adapting and rediscovering her humanity.
Yeah, that's it. I want to check that out too. Like, I've never watched any of the. I didn't watch any of the new Star Trek shows, and like I'm a relative newcomer to Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
Like I actually didn't watch shit like until like a few years ago. Like, that's when I watched the original series, which I love.
Mm-hmm.
I watched the Star Trek: The Next Generation, which I also really love. And that's why, like, when Picard came out, I was like, oh, awesome, we get more of kind of a little bit of that story, but it was complete horseshit. I was like, well, fuck this. Why would I instead of watching this just like so I can hate on it, like why don't I just like I'll go back and I'll rewatch The Next Generation and not hate myself.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and so that's why I didn't advocate it for it. That's why I told people not to watch it. That's why I told you not to watch it, not to waste your time. Because it was a vanity project for Patrick Stewart. It wasn't Patrick Stewart playing Jean-Luc Picard. It was Jean-Luc Picard playing Patrick Stewart.
Yeah. But
and so in that way, I've never been a particularly big Bud drinker, even though technically I am, because of all the different brands that fall under the Anheuser-Busch umbrella, like Stella Artois and things like that, Busch Beer obviously, and a bunch of other brands. But I never was a Budweiser drinker, and so there wasn't really there wasn't any need for me to declare a personal boycott for this, because I never really drank it anyways.
It's not your beer to begin with, so it's not like I'm gonna buy 30 cases and I'm gonna load this shit up and show it on Instagram or whatever.
Right, but again, I am a realist in that knowing that Stella Artois is a Bud brand, and what's the other one? I think Michelob is also.
Since it's become a Bud brand, that's when because Stella Artois used to be really good.
Mm-hmm.
Now, honestly, it tastes like dog piss now. Like it's something changed in like the flavor of Stella.
Well, I haven't had it in a while, but I'll take your word for it. But yeah, so like now, like again, like kind of similar with the Starbucks thing. I started a personal boycott. I no longer went to Starbucks, but I wasn't a hypocrite, and it was when I had to, I still went to Starbucks, but it wasn't like all the time, like I used to, and if someone was getting coffee and they happened to be going to Starbucks, I'd be like, no, I wouldn't like make a scene and be like, no, I don't drink Starbucks coffee.
Exactly.
I just say thank you. I would like to have such and such coffee now, and I'll still drink it.
Yeah, it's like you don't have to be an asshole about it. Like you personally are not going to go out of your way to buy it for yourself. But if somebody, like I said, if somebody bought me if they brought me a case of like Bud Light or Busch or something like that, I'm not gonna be like, be gone, Satan. I'm not gonna do something like that. It's like, oh wow, thank you, and I'll enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
But I personally am not gonna spend my own money on that particular brand.
Right. Yeah. Or I'll only buy it like if it's like my only option.
That's also it's like, well, fuck, I need some beer, but that's
yeah, because I can get a cup of coffee anywhere. I can go to Coffee Bean, or I can go to some lesser known coffee chain, or hell, I can go to 7-Eleven.
Actually, it's funny.
That's what I did for a little bit. Because they had a really good deal on iced coffee, and so I'd get the vanilla one, and then. But it was really sweet, so then I would cut it with their cold brew.
Okay.
And it balanced out.
It's you can do kind of the boycott in a different way. You don't have to be an asshole about it. You don't have to kick the fucking
Right, you don't have to be an activist about it.
Yeah, it's like, listen, I'm not going to personally spend my own money on this stuff unless that's really the only option. Which, actually, it's funny. During 4th of July, honestly, the only beer that was fucking left was Bud Light. I was like, what? Oh, God. Because I didn't want to come empty-handed to this party that I was invited to, so I was like...
Right.
Well, fuck it, I guess I'm buying this. It's like, oh, God damn it. But like, but that's a special occasion, you know what I mean? Like it's, but other than that, it's like yeah, it's like I'm gonna buy a different beer, or if I can, like there's local breweries. I can never say that word. I always say breweries, but it's like it's breweries.
Yeah, breweries.
Yeah, there's actually a lot in the valley that I am.
Yeah, there's the 818.
Yeah, like
thing.
this.
But or even just like in Los Angeles, like Golden Cart. I love their mango cart.
Dude, have you tried some of their other stuff too, like the guava one?
Oh, I haven't had that one.
Dude, that tastes
good?
so fucking good.
Okay, I'll have to try it next time.
Like a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I was like, I like that better than the mango cart.
Okay, I'll give it a try next time.
Yeah, it's but yeah, it's like you can make those. There's other alternatives. You don't have like. Don't get me wrong. I like Budweiser. I like Busch. I'm actually kind of sad that I can't. I'm not gonna spend my money on Busch. Like my wife is kind of pissed off about it too. But she's like, she understands.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, can we buy Busch yet? It's like, nope, we're not gonna reward a company.
No, we can't blink yet, honey. We can't blink yet.
Yeah, and so it's like, and yeah, I like kind of the name brand beer. Yeah, it's cheap. It's not like the best, but I like it. And but like they said, there's other alternatives. You can get better beers at like support. We always talk about like supporting local charities, local causes. Thinking locally.
Mm-hmm.
And we can do that by supporting breweries that operate within our city.
Mm-hmm.
Why not?
Exactly.
And they make good fucking beers too, which
mm-hmm.
is also great. But,
I'm sorry. Yeah, the brand was. I'm sorry. It's Golden Road. Excuse me.
What's that?
The Mango Cart brand is called Golden Road.
Golden Road Brewery. Yeah, they're really fantastic.
And they're local here in Los Angeles. So.
Yeah. Actually, I might just start buying their beers and
mm-hmm.
like just kind of stocking up on them.
Mm-hmm.
And especially if you because I know some people don't really like the taste of beer too much, but like
mm-hmm.
that.
Yeah, or you're like
beer.
Yeah, or you're like me and you just kind of naturally tend to prefer the kind of like the sweeter. You have a sweeter like palate.
Yeah.
The Mango Cart. I love Mango Cart. You have no idea.
I'm actually also a really huge fan of this brand too, the Leinenkugels.
The lemonade and.
They're actually really fucking hard to find now. Like the Summer Shandy, I was like, oh shit, they're because this is really hard to find during summer.
Mm-hmm.
They only have the Summer Shandy during summer. And before they used to have like some of their other flavors, like they have their like the Sunset Wheat, which I think is their staple beer that they always have.
Mm-hmm.
I can't find that anywhere now. It's kind of pissing me off because that beer tastes really good.
Mm-hmm.
But I actually if I can find it, I'm gonna get more of the Leinenkugels. That's also I think they're from like Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
Which is it's a really good beer. But
cool.
Like I said, there's other options out there that you can dive into, and you don't have to let these big corporations just spit in your face and like you buy it, bitch.
Mm-hmm. Anything else to add?
Nah, let's get into the movie.
All right.
Let's cleanse this palate and get the fuck out of here.
All right. Okay. All right. We'll get into our movie review. Just to remind you, tonight the movie review is for The Hunt for Red October, starring the legendary Sean Connery, Alec Baldwin, Sam Neill, Tim Curry, Courtney B. Vance, Scott Glenn, James Earl Jones.
Stacked.
Yes, the movie is stacked. Oh, Stellan Skarsgård.
Yeah.
Stellan Skarsgård too. Oh, there's have you seen the new John Wick movie?
have I what?
Have you seen the new John Wick movie?
I unfortunately have not. I was supposed to actually see it when last week when I was watching Hunt for Red October. That was gonna be I was gonna do a double bill with Santa, and I had some other issues, so we were not able to watch John Wick 4 that he has the Blu-ray of. So I'm gonna probably watch that next week. But what's in John Wick 4 that I need to look out for?
Oh, just look out for a certain phrase.
For a certain phrase, okay.
It'll be very familiar sounding.
Okay, all right. I'll.
And they both happen towards the end of the movie.
Okay, I'll be on the lookout.
All right. Yeah. Let me hit y'all with the synopsis, and we'll get going. Marco Ramius is a senior Russian submarine captain whose plan to defect are met with strong opposition by his own Soviet fleet and American misconceptions of his intentions. CIA analyst Jack Ryan, the one man who sees the defection, must convince most of the U.S. Navy that he is correct. The actions climax with an amazing naval battle, but who will win the hunt for Red October?
Is this the first Jack Ryan film?
I believe it is.
Yeah, because I think
I believe it's the first.
I think there's only 5 films so far.
Right. There's Hunt for Red October, Clear and Present Danger, Patriot Games, Sum of All Fears, and then Shadow Recruit.
Right, and then we have the show with.
Right, and then the show with
Yeah, I was.
So again, in media, there's 6, but in terms of films, there's only 5.
Yeah, I was actually trying to work through the Jack Ryan films. So I watched this. I rewatched Patriot Games, but I didn't finish the other 3. I started Clear and Present Danger, but wasn't able to finish it. And then then I'm gonna rewatch Sum of All Fears, and I've never seen Shadow Recruit either.
I like Shadow Recruit.
Yeah, you said that. Santa said that too. He likes Clear and Present Danger and Shadow Recruit.
Yeah, amazingly, I haven't seen the Harrison Ford era Jack Ryan movies, so that I'll have to remedy. I'll have to remedy that. Really, I'll have to remedy that.
Yeah, Patriot Games is on. I think it's on Amazon for free right now. And then A Clear and Present Danger is on Netflix. So
okay, for sure.
All
right, so I have options.
I need to Clear and Present Danger. I have not seen, so I'm actually watching that now. But Patriot Games is fucking great, and it's like because these are like I don't know how the book series goes, but obviously Hunt for Red October. Jack Ryan is a little bit younger. He's kind of new to whatever. Yeah. There's the Harrison Ford era. He's the older version of Jack Ryan, and then it kind of bounces back and forth as far as and I don't know because I've actually never read the books. I'm to be honest, I wish I had, because I think I would really like the books. And I'm this is a character I feel like that has, I don't know how many. Do you know how many books that they've done that Tom Clancy did for the Jack Ryan books?
I don't know.
I feel like there's a bunch. There has to be a shit ton of books.
I want to say at least 6. Hold on. I'll look it up real fast. Jack Ryan series. Dude, there are 33 books.
There's 33?
Apparently so.
Holy shit. Bro, this is... and I'm sure that, you can make great movies out of all of these. God damn, there really should be more, Jack Ryan stories, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's a great character. And, especially with Mission Impossible going away, fuck, make a John Krasinski movie. Like, I mean, they had the show. Fuck, make a movie with his character, like with his iteration of Jack Ryan. Make something out of that. Because I'm pretty sure, like, I have some sort of, I don't know how connected the show is with the books, but like all of these movies are that we Hunt for Red October also is based off of the books.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay. It appears that Hunt for Red October was a book. Patriot Games was a book. Clear and Present Danger was a book. Sum of All Fears was a book. And
was Shadow Recruit one?
I'm looking right now. Power of Elrond. Shadow of the Dragon. No, not Shadow Recruit.
Okay.
So so Shadow Recruit might have been like Jack Ryan inspired, or maybe it's one of the books, but it's just like they titled it something else.
Oh, that could be too. Yeah. But goddamn, like 33 books. Shit, that's it's a great character, and especially with Mission Impossible like kind of coming to an end next year. This is something that could pick that back up, and you have like that. We don't have like the Jason Bourne series anymore. We're not gonna have Mission Impossible anymore. I mean, as far as like new ones.
Right. But, like, yeah, and who knows like if they're gonna bring back James Bond.
I mean, they're going to obviously.
Yeah, just like, but probably not anytime soon.
But I wonder, like, because I'm thinking, like, I don't know how many James Bond books did Ian Fleming write? Like,
I know that wasn't a lot of books in the series.
Yeah.
I know there's Casino Royale, Dr. No. I just, yeah.
That's the other thing too. Is like, so is there anything based off of like Ian Fleming's like novels to go off of, or are they creating like more of like their own stories now?
Well, I think because it was such a limited series that they eventually had to come up with their own stories.
Because I don't think any of like the Brosnan stuff was based off of any of the books. Like, I think that was all.
Nor do I. I think that was like all like James Bond inspired. I think. Casino Royale obviously was the based off the book.
An underrated Bond, by the way. I did like the Pierce Brosnan era.
Oh yeah, me too. Yeah, I mean he was the one that like I mean I was familiar with like Sean Connery and things and Roger Moore and things like that, but
Tomorrow Never Dies is such a relevant movie.
Yeah, but Pierce Brosnan was my Bond. Growing up.
Yeah, that was my Bond too.
But anyways, okay, but let's get to the Hunt for Red October.
Let's dive into that. Fuck, man, like it stars.
I grew up watching this movie because my infamous older cousins, he was really into Tom Clancy. I think he had a lot of his books. I don't know if he had all of them, but he had a lot of those books. And I know
like. Tom Clancy did like Rainbow Six and all like
well actually that's the title of one of the books.
Been like put into games, movies, TV shows. I mean like he's one of those authors that is just synonymous with like had a lot of his stuff adapted.
Yeah. I mean more so I think more so than any other like even in like different medias like you said in games and in movies and in books. TV shows now with the Amazon production. But yeah, I first knew about this movie through again my infamous older cousins because he was really into Tom Clancy and like when the movie came out in 1990, like he had the movie poster and he, when he used to work at a video store, like as soon as that movie was available, he rented it and he like watched it like throughout an entire weekend.
Yeah, it's
a really good movie.
The balls, like immediately, and just you are along for the ride, and got like that's the sub that the Russians were on. Like they're saying, like, oh, it's as big as a World War II aircraft carrier. God damn, that like both.
Oh yeah, in the debrief, that Ryan gives, like like the estimated displacement of this Typhoon class is equivalent to like a World War II carrier. It's like holy shit, that's a huge boat.
Yeah. Now I was never on a submarine, thank God, because this whole month just reminded me like fuck submarines. But one thing that I was so curious about, because we always have like the radio men that are kind of like they're
the sonar guys,
around for like sonar and like looking around for other submarines and other treacherous things. And like whenever like things get like really intense, everyone shuts the fuck up. The sound really travel, like they're able to hear someone like because they talk about like
oh yeah I thought I heard singing, sir.
Yeah, but like even like when we did like Das Boot and U-571, like things would get real fucking quiet when shit like they're like by other ships and like other submarines, like
well yeah, because what is it because sound does travel farther in a liquid medium than in like a gas medium. And so that's why it does get, at least I would imagine it does get quiet on a submarine, just so the sound doesn't escape the sub and then travel into the water. And and that's why I think and I think that's a great element to add tension to a movie. Just like the idea is like, oh, you have to be quiet and like or otherwise the enemy's gonna hear you.
Yeah, actually, I found myself like kind of
like holding your breath a little bit, like especially in that scene when like the Dallas comes upon the Red October and then performs a crazy Ivan with like turning around to see if anyone's behind her, and then like everyone like oh, quick, quiet, and like they shut down like the propellers and it's like really quiet, and like there's like the scene is Captain Ramis is talking to his XO, and like you see the boats passing each other, and it's like really the American sailors are like really tense.
Yeah, it's like, and you as an audience are like, you also get quiet. It's like, oh shit, like are they gonna hear us?
Yeah.
But yeah, like what did you think of the characters? Like, I mean, obviously we've talked about Jack Ryan in the past. Like, I think he's a really cool character. But what do you think of Sean Connery's character? Like, what do you think of the Russian sailors?
Oh yeah, Sean Connery I love him in this role. And it's so crazy because he initially didn't want to do this movie because it was just after the fall of the Soviet Union, and he in an interview he said like, oh, I didn't want to do this movie because it was like dredging up old wounds, and like we were trying to heal, but like one of the things that convinced him was that they told him like, oh no Sean, the movie doesn't take place in current times, it takes place back in 1984, like six years ago. And so he's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously he's always going to be remembered as like James Bond, but honestly, like I was trying to think of like his greatest roles. I mean, James Bond is obviously like I'm throwing that out, but I'm thinking of like movies, The Last Crusade, Indiana Jones and The Last Crusade.
Yeah, Henry Jones Sr.
Yeah, this role. Honestly, I'm throwing Marnie in there too because he's actually pretty good in that too.
And what?
He's in a Hitchcock film.
He is?
Yeah, Marnie.
I haven't seen that one, or even heard that. I've heard of that one. Oh, also John Mason in The Rock.
Oh fuck yeah, that's right.
Which is kind of a low key James Bond movie.
Okay, like that's just a Bond film.
I know. It's a low key. It's like a wink and a nudge kind of James Bond movie.
Yeah, that movie's fucking great. I know. people like the shit on that film, but it is fucking great.
Mm-hmm.
The music, it also just, man, it kicks you right in the fucking nuts. It's so good.
But I was fully convinced that Sean Connery was a Russian sub-captain.
Right? And it's like, I know he's from fucking Scotland.
Yeah.
It's like, but goddamn, like it's like he is Russian.
Yeah, right. I know, like just everything about it, like the haircut, the beard, you know, even the way he says adversary.
Yeah, and like the subterfuge that he throws in there, because you start off as like, this guy is a bad guy,
mm-hmm.
and you're not really like, because it's like, oh, he's trying to, you know, take this sub and like go rogue and start a war.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, even like the Russians don't, they're like, fuck, we didn't send this guy. And
right, yeah, the first few scenes, yeah, it sets the tone, like where you don't know what his intentions are, but you know, as the movie goes along, like, you know, it becomes clear that you know, his Ryan's theory of him wanting to defect is true.
Yeah, and then after he kills the XO, you get like that meeting with the other officers that he put in place on his ship.
Oh no, that was the political officer.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah, they killed off the political officer.
Mm-hmm.
And like once that happened, it's like, wait a second, like they killed this guy off, but like, and he switches the orders around. It's like, fuck, is he gonna like?
Yeah, is he going rogue?
And then what you find out is that no, he is trying to defect, and like all the people that the officers, because he trained everybody, he knows the tactics.
Yeah. He handpicked, well, at least the officers. He handpicked the officers to help him.
And he also made sure that he got onto that experimental submarine, because that is a top of the line experimental submarine that has never been seen before,
mm-hmm.
and he's going to deliver that as a gift to the Americans,
mm-hmm.
to secure him and his officers, like, you know, freedom, to give them amnesty in America. And that's kind of like the tension of the movie. And what's the Stellan Skarsgård's character is also a fellow officer, that he's the commander of another Russian submarine that is going after him.
Mm-hmm. I thought, his Stellan Skarsgård performance in this movie, I know we don't get a lot of time with him, but it's so impactful, because, you know, you kind of have that setup when, you know, when Captain Ramius is talking with the political officer, when they're reading their orders, and he's saying like, oh yeah, Captain Tupolev, you know, I heard, it's like, oh, I know he descends from aristocracy, you know, like, you know, kind of like giving his backstory. He's like, oh, and I heard that he has a special place in his heart for you. You know, it's just like, you know, and then, you know, kind of, and Captain Ramius kind of like brushes it off his side and says like, oh, the only person he has room in his heart for is himself.
No, yeah.
But then, like when he gets the orders to go and, you know, kill Ramius, you know, you see the kind of turmoil that he goes through, that he has to go kill, like, you know, his former mentor and friend.
Yeah.
You know, even calling him as such, you know, because his XO is like, oh, it's like, what are we doing? It's like, we're going to go kill him. We're going to go kill a friend.
Yeah, and it's not an easy thing to do. You know, there's actually a hell of a lot of sacrifice on. What's Sean Connery's character's name in this one?
Ramius. Right? Ramius.
Yeah, like there's a lot of sacrifice that he goes through,
mm-hmm.
Where, you know, you're not really sure, like, it's obviously he's lost his wife. You know, Tupolev is like his friend and mentor, but he just can't live in the Soviet Union.
Or because you know, when one of his subordinates, one of the officers, accuses him of, you know, making a political statement, it's like he's not wrong, because his experience of being a sub captain, you know, playing this dangerous game, as he refers to it, when he's giving the orders to his crew. He realizes that, and again in another monologue he says, like, the only purpose for this boat is for, this boat only has one purpose, and that's for attack. And all that's gonna do is lead to the annihilation of everybody.
Yeah. The other thing that I thought was a brilliant move for with this movie, and this is John McTiernan film, so of Die Hard fame. Predator, like one of my favorite directors. Like I have a soft spot for John McTiernan. But the one thing that I thought was another brilliant move too is because initially when we meet the Russians, we get the subtitles. They're speaking in Russian. But when we actually get down with the crew and like we're focused on the Russian sub, the Red October, all of a sudden like it goes from like they're speaking Russian and then they start and it goes into English because now we're in their realm. So
yeah, I really enjoyed that little transition. I thought it was very clever.
I thought it was really clever too. I thought it was great.
Because I'm sure because we ultimately were rooting for these Russians, and it's a great way to subliminally get them, get us, the audience, on their side if we could like understand them.
Yeah, and like I said, they're just like us, and like these officers are like, we gotta fuck out of here, and you're also wondering too is like one of the other tension points is like how the fuck are they gonna get this other crew up, because the rest of the crew is not involved in this.
All the enlisted men.
So it's like, are they gonna kill the entire fucking crew just so they can escape? Which is, I mean, I'm sure that they were prepared to do such a thing. However, I don't think that that's something that Ramius wanted to do. I think he wanted them to like, I think what happened is what he wanted to have happen, like where they.
Yeah, of course. Like he totally planned out everything, and he couldn't be a hypocrite by trying to stop war, but then still using violence.
Yeah, exactly. And the one thing that they like, the one nugget they left is after he killed the political officer. And they're trying, they're picking up the body and all that. There's that one other sailor that's kind of like I think he's the cook, was kind of off in the corner. Like he heard something. He's like, something's not right here. But like we don't really revisit that until later in the movie.
Where it's like it's revealed that he's the saboteur.
And that's like the one like rogue soldier that kind of creates that tension at the end of the movie. It's like, and I think I love stuff like that with these great movies.
Yeah, and it's interesting because what is it? When Captain Ramius first meets the political officer, he asks them like, "Oh, how many KGB agents are on my boat?" And the political officer says like, "Oh, if there are any agents aboard the ship, I'd be the last to know."
Right, and maybe that chef was a KGB agent.
Yeah, well, yeah, it ultimately ends up, it turns out it ends up being the cook, like he's the agent placed aboard to, kind of keep an eye on things, and ultimately, stop anyone who tries to defect or tries to go against orders. I bet even if Ramius went crazy and was ultimately trying to, nuke the United States, I think the KGB agent will still try to have stopped him.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. I see. No, I think that had it been Ramius doing that, that would have been something that guy would have been on board with.
I don't. Not necessarily, because if he's outside of ideology, I think if his orders were to stop him if he tries to defect, or stop him if he tries to, launch missiles. I think he would have done it regardless.
Because
because again, those would have been his orders. It's like if he tries to defect, stop him. If he tries to launch missiles, stop him.
Yeah, because, but it's a great movie. Like we have Jack Ryan, who is he's trying to figure out about the Red October. He meets with because of the questions he's asking and his expertise. He gets thrust upon well, you're gonna go to hang out with the Navy and kind of talk about what's going on. And once they find out that the Red October essentially went rogue, it's well, I need to get on the sub that would be closest by where that happened, which is the not Ed
the
Harris.
Dallas.
Fuck, what was his
the Dallas. The Dallas, the Los Angeles class attack submarine.
Yeah. So he has to go on the Dallas, and it's well, because he knows that there's something this guy he's met Ramius before. Is this guy's trying to defect. I don't know why. I have this great feeling that he's trying to defect.
Right. Yeah. And you have that great scene where he's kind of piecing it together. He's looking at old photos, and then he's like, oh, what's today's date? And it's and he realizes that it's the first anniversary of Ramius' wife's death, and he's just piecing it all together, and it's he gets really excited, and it's you son of a bitch! It slams the table.
Oh, you're trying to make that general look like an asshole. It's well, yeah, he is.
I know, right? Yeah, because he was when he started breaking it down, saying oh yeah, Ramius, he's not even ethnically Russian, he's Lithuanian. He has no ties, no children to leave behind. And today is the first year anniversary of his wife's death, and what
did he have to lose?
Yeah, he had nothing to lose and everything to gain. And the general comes in saying oh, you don't know shit. And then he as the defense Secretary of Defense notes, oh, he slams the door pretty hard on him. He's I met the motherfucker. Have you met him? It's just
yeah.
I mean, not using those words, of course, because it's a PG-13 movie. But it's I met him one time in an embassy dinner. Have you met him, General?
Have you met
him?
I have.
But yeah, it's and then we get little tidbits of even Ryan's past, because when he goes aboard I believe it's the Enterprise aircraft carrier, the XO of the ship, he kind of he gives Ryan attitude, because he does he thinks that Ryan is just this nerd from Langley.
But he's not.
Yeah, but he's not. But and then the admiral aboard ship, he gives him the lowdown on him, saying oh yeah, he was a Marine. He got into a bad chopper accident. Broke his back. Had to learn how to walk again. And it's hey, I don't know, it's up to you, but you might want to give that kid some slack.
Yeah. What did you think of the characters on the Dallas?
Oh, I thought it was great. I love Scott Glenn's Captain Mancuso. I love Seaman Jones. I love Seaman Beaumont. The sonar tech in training. Even Cobb, the chief of the boat, he was great. As well as the XO. The XO was great too.
I think it's you feel. The one thing I like about this movie is obviously we're not with these characters for very long, but you feel they feel real. You almost feel the camaraderie. Oh, we've been serving together for years. And
right. Yeah. When early on when the Cobb comes in and kind of busts Jones's balls. about playing the music out out in the water.
All I heard is like Pavarotti. It's like no, it was not. It was Paganini. It was like what the
Yeah, but like little moments like that, you believe in these characters. Like you believe they've been serving together a long time, and Siemens Jones, he's kind of like a shithead, but he's very skilled at what he does.
Yeah, it's so the way the camaraderie that's played not only on the Dallas but on the Red October too. Like there is like a at least among the officers that are trying to defect, there is a relationship there, and you feel that relationship, that they're very close with one another.
Mm-hmm.
And you also feel like how like Tim Curry, the doctor of that ship, and the rest of the crew are there kind of off to the side.
Right. And I want to think that Tim Curry was a last minute addition. Because I'm pretty sure maybe not, because if for Raimi's plan to work, I think he needed the doctor to like kind of hype up the urgency of the radiation leak.
Do you think that? So do you think that he was essentially with the officers to a degree, but like he was kind of like, we're gonna have to leave you behind?
No. I think because I initially thought that he had picked another doctor to come on board. And to help him out, but something happened where they had to switch him out for another doctor, and so he couldn't really help. But then it ended up helping him because the doctor was so afraid of radiation. You see that in like that. When the caterpillar drive initially breaks down, he comes down and immediately was there core damage? Was there radiation leak? And so when the fake radiation leak started to happen, like he needed the doctor's hysterics to sell it to the rest of the crew.
Now, this is a question I had like when I was watching it for the first time. The caterpillar drive was sabotaged by the officers, right?
No, by the cook. By the cook. By the KGB agent who ends up being the cook.
Yeah, so that's the point I had. What was it like? Was that done on purpose, or was that done by the cook?
I want to say the cook, because I'm sure the cook got a copy of the orders. The one that was in the safe. And I think when he realized that they weren't following the orders that he knew were the ones issued by command, he knew he had to do something.
Oh, okay. That's because I know, like at the towards the end of the film, they the mechanic, essentially sets off the alarm for radiation,
right?
Which is what helps get everyone else off the ship.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't sure if that was part of the plan of the caterpillar drive being.
No. The caterpillar drive, the sabotage of the caterpillar drive, that was the cook, the KGB agent, trying to stop them.
Oh, okay.
Because being someone like to monitor things, he would have to have been privy to the orders, even though they were sealed away in the safe or whatever, and like only accessible by the captain and the political officer. He would have had to have known what the orders were.
Okay.
And I don't think that when they go to they go test it out on Red Route 1, in those canyons, when he knew that those weren't the orders. He knew he had to slow them down.
Okay, that's that was the question. That was the big question I had about the film. Was like what who sabotaged the Caterpillar drive? Because I understood that the mechanic that was on the side with the officers that were trying to defect, he's the one that like kind of set off the radiation alarm.
Yeah.
But I wasn't sure if like that was part of the plan all along to destroy the Caterpillar drive too.
Right, because I think Ramius was trying to get as close to the United States as possible.
Right.
I don't know exactly if Ryan hadn't intervened. I don't know exactly how he would still have gotten them off the ship and then made it look like.
No, I honestly I think it worked out like by fucking the stroke of luck, because the Dallas figured out how to track that ship because Stephen Jones he's fucking great at his job. And I know Scott Glenn's character, Commander Mancuso, he was gonna shoot that shit down. Like
yeah. Right, but I think maybe when the XO, the Enterprise was when Ryan told him. When he said like, "Oh, what do you think he's gonna do? Just sail into New York and pop the hat and say, 'Here I am,'" and Ryan said like, "It may be that simple." Without Ryan's intervention, I think that might have been the plan.
That could have been the plan, actually. Yeah, I think you might be right, but I think that's a good question. Like, to be honest, I don't. If the Caterpillar drive had not failed, I don't think the Dallas could have. They could have tracked it, sure, but I don't know if they could have caught that ship.
Maybe. What do you mean catch the ship?
No, because with that they could. I don't think that submarine travels faster than the Dallas.
I don't know about faster. It's just more quiet. And they don't go into very fine details about the inner the mechanics of the Caterpillar drive. I
thought they said it also made them faster too by doing that.
I don't recall, and I've seen this movie a lot, so I don't think it necessarily makes you faster. Because I know the guy that Ryan goes to see. He called it he described it as like a jet engine for the water. Water goes in this way and gets squirted out the back. But then that doesn't necessarily mean that it propels the ship.
Maybe I must have misunderstood that. I thought it made them faster.
Or maybe you inferred it.
Yeah, because it seemed like they were much faster by using the Caterpillar drive. Because they put so much distance between them and the Russian fleet that they were hitting, and obviously they're running silently at the same time, but they're also kind of faster too. And plus, the thing is too. This is a newer submarine compared to the Dallas. The Dallas is probably a little. I mean, it's still a modern sub, but this is a brand new experimental sub that the Red October.
But if you paid attention to the details, even between the Dallas and Red October, Dallas was the more sophisticated submarine. If you notice, because there's there's more.
Yeah, I missed that.
Yeah, because there are more screens on the Dallas than there were on the Red October. Red October still utilized analog gauges and stuff like that. I mean, they had that one digital screen, but then clock readout thing. But in terms of informational interfaces, they still. The Dallas had computer screens as opposed to the Red October, which was still using dials and gauges.
The Red October looked like the fucking Death Star.
Yeah, but again, I think that goes to show you the disparity in levels of technology. Even the most advanced ship in the Soviet fleet, the Red October, was still an antique compared to the Dallas, which was not even like the same class of boat.
Oh, okay. That does make sense. Okay, I'm gonna watch it again, but I was just like, I thought that was kind of the thing that like this was a ship that they couldn't catch and they couldn't see it.
Right. No, it was just quiet, so it was like undetectable. That's why when they make initial contact with the Red October, and then all of a sudden, like the sonar screen just like cuts off, it's because they couldn't hear the propellers moving anymore. Like because there's active and there's passive sonar, and so like active is like when during the communication through the periscope. And he sent, Red October sends out that ping. That's an active sonar. They're sending out a sound wave to hear it bounce off something and calculate the distance from when it hit that sound wave hits the other submarine and then back to the source. But then you have like the inactive sonar, which you're just listening for noises. Like the motion of the propellers, or singing.
Oh man, but man, this the film, the way like it like I mean you're bought in on this film. Like it is a tense film.
Yeah, and you totally believe that these are all like Navy personnel. Like that at the end when. Just as the last battle submarine battle happens, and you hear the whirring of the torpedo overhead, and the Russian officer is like, "Oh, it's the Americans! They're shooting at us again." But then Seaman Jones, pipes up and says like, "Oh, the pitch is too high." It's like it's Russian.
Yeah, Seaman Jones is a fucking brilliant. Like that guy needs to be like he needs to go up like 4 ranks. Like he's so good at his job.
Yeah, or he should be commissioned.
He really, honestly, he really should. He's too damn good at his job because if you didn't have Seaman Jones, like they would have never caught the Red October for one. And then two, like it's the same thing. Like like the Americans are shooting. It's like nope, they're not. Like, because the American ship, the crew of the Dallas that went on the Red October, they didn't know that James Earl Jones's character was on the ship that was supposedly attacking the Red October.
Well, actually, I think that Ryan did know. Well, I mean, maybe
No, I think he did.
No. Well, they'd have to coordinate because
Oh, you know what? Yeah,
because Ryan explained it. Explained it. It's like, it was necessary to keep up appearances for your crew.
Right. I don't think that Ryan told the rest of the crew though.
I don't know. I don't necessarily think that's true. I just think more is like I think the Captain Mancuso's reaction was more of like, oh shoot, he's asking uncomfortable questions. So it's like, Ryan, tell him.
Yeah. But no, it's. I mean, all the battles are tense. Like the back and forth between the Red October and the Dallas.
Oh yes,
really
that constant like switching between perspectives, like from like what is it on the battleship with James Earl Jones to the Dallas, and then Red October, and then Stellan Skarsgård's characters, like his boat.
Yeah,
like this constant rotation back and forth. That was so brilliant. I love that scene.
Yeah, this is just a.
Yeah,
really
I mean this isn't just a good like spy thriller movie. This is just a good movie.
Yeah, it's a great movie. it's great in its genre. You know, it fits obviously it fits our theme, submarine films.
Mm-hmm.
I think most people would probably label this their favorite Jack Ryan film.
Mm-hmm.
So far, I would say I would agree with that. I haven't seen all of them yet.
Mm-hmm.
I actually haven't seen all of the Jack Ryan show either. And the ones that I have seen, I mean, I like the character in general. I found everything enjoyable so far. But god damn, like this movie just like kicked me right in the ass. It was so good. And like I said, John McTiernan's attached, and I love his films.
Mm-hmm.
This is like peak Alec Baldwin. You got James Earl Jones. You know, and all these great actors that we like: Sam Neill, Sean Connery, Stellan Skarsgård, Tim Curry, Scott Glenn. You know, God, you go down the list, and it's like
this movie is stacked.
Yeah, it's such a great cast, great action. You buy like the realism of the character. You don't think that I'm watching a movie. No, you feel like you're just a fly on the wall of both.
You're a fly on the wall, like watching. Like you're a fly on the wall watching history.
Yeah, and like I mean, even like the movie opens up, it's like, you know, it's like, oh, this takes place in 1984, and like there's this thing like where the Red October, a Russian sub that was trying to attack America, was sunk off the coast of blah blah blah. But this is a story that actually never happened, and it's like so you're already like kind of, you know, that there's going to be some sort of subterfuge here.
Mm-hmm.
And I also like the way that the movie ends too, where, you know, the Red October is given over to the Americans. The Russian officers are given like amnesty, and like really great moment between Jack Ryan and Ramius, and kind of talking about because they're both fishermen, or like, you know, they grew up with fishermen, and
they grew up with grandfathers that took them fishing.
Right, they have this like really great moment together, and you buy that moment because it's like, I think that Jack Ryan respects Ramius as a person. Like, I think that he thinks that he's very smart, and I think he respects the courage that it took to break away from the Soviet Union. Because honestly, like that, because if that did not succeed, he would be dead. Like, there's no going back to the Soviet Union.
Right. Yeah, there's no whoops, man, I made a mistake. I love Russia. Like, no, you're going to a gulag.
No, all those, and I think it was also like the reason why, and they talk about this in the film too. Like, the reason why he sent that letter over to the premier of Russia, the Admiral
Badorin.
He was wanting to burn that bridge. Like, listen, guys, there's no going back. We have to go through with this. We are all dead if we go back. And it was kind of a way to like kind of solidify their loyalty. But I think also for him, it's like I don't think it was like necessarily something nefarious to like make sure that they stayed in line. I think that was something for him, like to make sure that he didn't lose his resolve.
Right, because he gives right, because he, you know, when the officer started questioning him, he's like, "Whoa, why would you do that?" You know, he recounts the anecdote about Cortez burning his ships, you know, like giving his, you know, men motivation. He's like, I think more than he was talking about them, he was talking about himself.
Oh, yeah, that's what I think too. And it's like, fuck, this movie on every level is brilliant.
Oh yeah, and in that same scene, I love the little like sly little threat that he makes when he offers them more tea. Because, you know, the cover story is that, you know, the political officer slipped on some tea and broke his neck, and there's like a little like, you know, like because they keep questioning him, and so it's like, oh, anybody want some more tea?
That's right. Oh my god! Like I said, this movie is brilliant on all fronts.
Yeah.
The characters are great. The story is great. The tension's great. you buy in like from the moment you watch from the first second of this film to the end. It is a great fucking spy thriller, action, subterfuge, submarine film. Like it has it all. It's great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just like that last submarine battle is just great.
Brilliant.
Yeah, Red October trying to,
and you have the Dallas and the Red October working together, like the best of those ships working together to make to
right because the Red October is a huge missile boat, so it doesn't necessarily turn on a dime, and then they're being attacked by a more nimble submarine, and so just the teamwork of Red October and the Dallas, just so great.
I think that Scott Glenn's character he learned a lot. Mancuso, I think, learned something from Ramius because he played that chicken game with the Russian sub.
Right. That's right.
He ruined the trajectory of that torpedo by going right at it and fucking up the whole thing.
The guidance. Yeah. Because the torpedo was set to detonate at a certain range, and so in the beginning, and then Captain Ramius turns into the torpedo and then closes the distance, and so when the torpedo hits the Red October, it breaks up. It doesn't explode because the range became shorter between them, so it didn't have the time for the torpedo to arm.
Right.
And so in a brilliant game recognizes game. So Captain Mancuso also kind of takes that takes a page out of his book.
I had to take that in mind next
time.
Yeah.
So I gotta use that, So
it's because is this guy fucking crazy? Like he's going right at the torpedo. He's head on. He's dead
so
ahead.
after Dallas goes and and takes basically intercedes on the Red October's behalf, and then gets the torpedo to track it. The torpedo, the Dallas then blows its tanks and then immediately rises to the surface, which then the torpedo loses tracking, and then it then retracks onto Red October. But by that time, Captain Mancuso, starts to play chicken with the other Russians, the Korolev. There you go, Korolev, and then pulls out of it, and the torpedo runs right back into the Korolev, destroying it.
God, it was just brilliant. You have these brilliant tacticians at the height of their game, and it's I love that scene where both those crews are the best of the crews are working together is fucking brilliant. I love that, and I love that right before they get hit by the torpedo, because what is it, Captain Tupolev, he in frustration he removes the safety from his weapons, so as soon as he launches the torpedoes, they arm themselves. And that it proved to be his undoing. And then, right before they get hit, his XO's "You arrogant ass, you killed us." Yeah. Yep. Oh man, so good. This movie's awesome. I don't know if I have anything else to say about it. So we can rate it if you want.
All right. Yeah. I'm gonna give this movie a 5. And I am not ashamed of that.
No, I'm not ashamed of it. I'm also a 5-star on this one. This is fucking great.
Yeah, this movie is. I love this movie. It is great. One of my favorites. And I don't care. I know I've grown up with this movie. It's a part of my personal history. And I just love it. Every single time that this movie is on basic cable, I'm watching it. There's not even a question. Even if I'm busy, I'm watching it.
Well, I guess I'm going to cancel my plans because the Hunt for October is on.
I know, right? It's even if I had a date with a girl, I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I can't make it. Watching Hunt for Red October.
Yeah. this film is so good. This is my first time coming to it. I'm gonna come back. Actually, to be honest, I think I might buy this film because that's how much I like it. I think I'm gonna have to get the
and I wouldn't blame you. And on this one, I wouldn't blame you.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, man, my track record is like really good. I mean, I turned you onto a lot of. I turned you onto a bunch of good movies that you ended up loving.
Cool Little Junkies is fucking great too. Like, I really like that film a lot. You do have a good track record on the films that you choose, which is actually like why this is also why I was like, hey, why don't you choose some of the themes and some of the films for us to watch? Because I know you have your repertoire, like, and I choose a whole bunch of stuff, but sometimes I don't have the best track record sometimes. Like, there's films that I like that you don't like.
Yeah, or I don't get as excited over as vice versa.
Like, the film that like really like I was like really shocked that like, because I had a lot to say about it, but it kind of derailed me when you said like, yeah, this movie fucking sucks. Midsommar.
Oh yeah, dude.
You fucking hated that film. I was like, well, fuck, that blows my like conversation out of the water, because I had all these like theory questions I was gonna ask you because I thought you were gonna like it, and you're like, yeah, fuck these characters. Fuck, I'm glad they all die. Well, that's the whole like review out of the goddamn.
I know, like. Well, I mean, yeah, because I heard some things, not great things about Midsommar, but then you came because of our friendship and because I know you,
I really like that film. Actually.
Yeah, on the strength of your recommendation, I was like, okay, all right, I'll give it a shot. And I watched it and I was like, I hate this movie. This movie sucks.
You killed my like what I thought was gonna be.
Yeah, I killed your movie boner. I killed your movie boner for that one.
You were not alone though, because our good friend of the show, Heidelberg, he fucking hates that film too. So
at least I'm not alone.
You're not alone. You're not alone. You might like Hereditary, which is Ari Aster's first film. You might like that film. So we might. I might. Have to
did he do Midsommar too?
So Midsommar was his second film.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but to be honest, I would say that Hereditary is better than Midsommar.
Okay, well, we'll see. I'll for your sake, I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, but like I said, not all my films are gems in your eye.
Yeah.
Andy. So I get that. And even like sometimes like where like I'm like, because I'll choose a film like, oh dude, I've always wanted to watch this. And then I end up being disappointed too. It's like, well, fuck, this sucked. Like to be honest, I thought I was gonna like Key Largo more than I did, and I was like, there was things about it that were good, but fuck, that movie like was not as good as I was hoping.
Yeah, and I remember, and I appreciated it because I appreciated Key Largo because, what is it? My favorite Star Trek franchise, Deep Space Nine, did kind of like an homage to
Key Largo.
Key Largo.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and so like like you, like, did I think it was like the greatest movie ever? No, but I do appreciate like the whole premise of Key Largo, thanks to Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, it's like I said, not everything I choose is a gem. Like, some of it's like because like I choose the film because like, fuck, I've always wanted to watch this and it fits our theme. And then there's other ones where like I really like the film, and then it was like, oh, I think Andy might like this and we're gonna have a great discussion, and then we don't because you're like, this movie fucking sucks, hate it.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, it's not that I don't want to, share my movie taste or whatever, but I just know that, you're more enthusiastic with coming up with the themes and picking the movies, and and I'm naturally lazy, so I just let you do it.
No, well, I'm gonna include you more on our movie choices because you've picked more great movies than I have. Let's just say your batting average, although like you had less at bats, your batting average is better than mine. I'll just say that.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. So, I accidentally triggered an open window, browser window.
Whoops.
The audio at least. Could you repeat that last bit?
No, what I was saying is that although you have less at bats, your batting average is better than mine.
Oh.
Dude, Pool Hall Junkies, I've become a huge advocate for Pool Hall Junkies. Like, I think that movie is, outside of The Hustler, is the greatest pool movie of all time.
Yes, dude. I'm like, okay. Yeah, I I forget what movie it was. It was more of a satirical movie. But, a lot of people, what was it? Oh, Best in Show. I remember a lot of people would use Best in Show to see if like their potential like boyfriend or girlfriend is a good match. But like Pool Hall Junkies, Hunt for Red October, and I gotta think of another movie. But at least those two movies. Oh, Die Hard. Those three movies. If a girl does not like those movies, then she can go fuck off.
Yeah, those are three of the greatest movies of all time. They're awesome.
Yeah, I mean, and for me, they're personal too. So like, if they don't like those movies, then they don't like me.
Honestly, I would say that of those three, I think I might like Pool Hall Junkies the most.
It is a really good movie.
Bro, that movie is so goddamn good. Like, I'm so sad that movie was not as popular as it should have been. Because it hits everything.
Yeah, I would dare say that I would dare classify that movie as the perfect movie.
God, I'm dying. They need to have a fucking Blu-ray release of that film.
Dude, let's start a hashtag campaign.
We need to contact
hashtag My Nigger Charles. There you go. That'll be the hashtag.
Yeah.
Hashtag My Nigger Charles.
Yeah, we need to contact Mars Callahan. Bro, let's get a Blu-ray release of this. Like, your movie's 20 years old. It's awesome. Let's get that Blu-ray release. Let's get some interviews about people's experiences on the film. Let's get the crew back together. Let's pull this thing together.
I mean, it's a shame that Chaz Palmeri passed away, but
is he dead? No.
Yeah, I think he passed away a couple years ago. Hold on, let me double check.
Not dead, is he? Okay. Now I was. There's no, he's not.
Charles Palmeri. Is he
dead? He's 70.
What? Am I lit? Dude, was I in a different timeline?
I guess so. Like, are you?
Dude, for certain, I could have sworn that there was news that he had passed away.
Did you Mandela affect yourself?
Maybe.
Yeah, no, he's alive. That's why I was like, get out of here. He's dead.
I mean, no disrespect, but I could have sworn that there was news of his passing.
No, I think all the cast is still alive, so it would be really, honestly, it would be great to have, like, people talking about their experience with the film and have, like, a new commentary track with some of the main characters talking about the film. And Mars Callahan, he's so, like, I respect that guy so much. Like, he...
Okay. So, sorry, Chaz Palmeri.
You are not dead.
You're not dead. I forgiveness, please.
We need to do a Bronx Tale sometime, too. Like, that's...
Yeah, he wrote that. He wrote that.
You've seen it, right? A Bronx Tale? You've seen it?
Yeah. No, yeah. And Chaz Palmeri, he wrote that.
He wrote the Bronx... Oh, that's why it's so good.
Yeah, like it was like an off-Broadway show, and then I think he was the one, like, he was like shopping it around, and then Robert De Niro got heard of it, and like that's when it took off.
I think that is why Chaz Palminteri, because of like what he went through with a Bronx Tale, I think that's also why he chose to help Mars with that project, because that's probably because he wrote a Bronx Tale. He went through that same experience, and so he wanted to help out a guy who had a similar vision. And he's like, well, you get like one more like big actor, and you don't just make sure, like, here's the one thing, kid, you make sure that the next person but
if another like struggling kid, filmmaker comes up to you, you do him that solid.
That's why he did that. Fuck.
That interview that you sent me with Mars, that's how he got it. That's how he got Cool Out Junkies made, because he went to Chaz Palminteri. He's like, please, Mr. Palminteri, would you please do this movie? And he said, like, all right, I'll do this for you, but you got to promise me that if a struggling art school kid comes to you asking for a favor, you do that favor.
Yeah, this is part of the reason why, like, I know it, like, we've already covered it on here, but this other movie project thing that I'm working on, I queued that up to talk about with Cool Hall Junkies there too, just because, not because like I'm trying to like do stuff that we've covered here, but just because that movie fucking deserves it. Like, it needs more coverage. That's how much I think that I love this film. It's so good.
Yes, I turned you into a believer.
Yeah, but anyways, that's all I gotta say.
Right.
Hunt for Red October is
all
awesome. Right. Your choices have been great. We're gonna make sure that we have more Andy choices. They tend to be a lot better.
more successes when I pick. More successes.
Yeah.
All right, there you go, folks. That's our review for Hunt for Red October. Both Robert and I give this a 5. I mean, if you haven't watched this movie, do yourself a favor. Take a weekend, watch this movie, and watch it, and then after it's over, watch it again, because it's that good.
It's really fucking great.
All right, folks. That'll bring us to the end of our stream tonight. I hope you had a good time. I had a good time. I know Rob always has a good time.
Dude, I had a great time.
If you want to keep the good times going.
So next month we're doing Vigilante Month.
Where do we want to
start?
I'll leave it to you.
Why don't we kick it off with Charles Bronson and Death Wish?
All right, there you go. Something to look forward to. We'll be starting next month. New theme. You heard it here first, folks. Vigilante Month, and we'll be kicking it off with the seminal vigilante movie, Death Wish.
Hell yeah, it's awesome.
All right. I hope everyone else had a good time. If you want to keep the good times rolling, check out the library of other content that we have. The Circle of Jerks main podcast, old episodes of Nocturnal Transmissions, of course, and Rob's Gaming Show, Up by Up Down. Don't forget to follow us on our various social media accounts, Twitter and Letterboxd at PodcastCOJ, and on Instagram at Circle of Jerks Podcast. And with all that said, we thank you for joining us tonight. Come back next week and we'll do it all over again. Have a good night.